welcoming all to our debate competition. I warmly welcome our chief guest, Professor Dr. Rita Bahuguna Joshi ma'am. I also welcome Mr. Ganesh Jadhav. Welcome, sir. And with that, I also welcome our esteemed Vice Chancellor ma'am, Professor Dr. Balwinder Shukla ma'am.
अब हम सम्मानपूर्वक
Today, we all have gathered here on this momentous occasion as we commemorate the birth centenary of the renowned leader, late Srimati Kamla Bahuguna ji, with a thought-provoking debate competition.
अब हम सम्मानपूर्वक मुख्य अतिथि श्रीमती डॉक्टर रीता बहुगुणा जोशी जी से अनुरोध करते हैं कि वे दीप प्रज्वलित कर इस कार्यक्रम का शुभारंभ करें। आपकी उपस्थिति और आशीर्वाद से यह अवसर और भी शुभ व प्रेरणादायक हो जाएगा। Honorable VC ma'am and Professor Dr. Rita Bahuguna Joshi ji ma'am.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तुते ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः आरोग्यं देहि पुत्रांश्च पतिं स्वच्छामि मे सदा रवेरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदयो भवेत् रवेरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदयो भवेत् यस्य तिष्ठे गृहे दीपः तस्य नास्ति दरिद्रता शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम्
Srimati Kamla Bahuguna ji, whose ideology, a society rises when its women stand tall, with equal opportunities lighting their path, inspires us. कमला बहुगुणा जी की एक प्रसिद्ध राजनीतिज्ञ और समाज सेविका थी, जो समाज कल्याण और महिला सशक्तिकरण के प्रति गहरी प्रतिबद्धता रखती थी। एक नेता के रूप में उन्होंने ईमानदारी और समर्पण के साथ सेवा की और अपने पीछे एक ऐसी विरासत छोड़ी जो समाज सेवा के प्रति समर्पित थी। कमला बहुगुणा जी का धैर्य और दृढ़ता सभी के लिए एक प्रेरणा है और उनके योगदान को राष्ट्र आज भी बड़े सम्मान के साथ याद करता है।
Amity University is a place of diverse culture and tradition, and we believe in upkeeping them. One such tradition is greeting our guests with a token of love, a tulsi sapling for our esteemed guests. I would now request our Vice Chancellor ma'am, Professor Dr. Balwinder Shukla ji, to present a tulsi sapling to Miss Rita Bahuguna ma'am. Please give a big round of applause. Now, I would request Professor Dr. Sanjeev Bansal sir to present a sapling to our beloved VC ma'am. Please give a round of applause. It is an honor to have such esteemed guests among us. To begin with, I would like to call upon Dr. Sanjeev Bansal sir, the additional Pro Vice Chancellor of Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone. Few days ago, when Mr. Tomar came here and he told about this wonderful opportunity, we were all overwhelmed. I was just told that I have to give the welcome address, so I asked my office if I can get profile of Dr. Rita Bahuguna Joshi ji, and they gave me a profile of 3 pages. So then I decided that if I read the profile, I think it is known to everyone. There are many accomplishments. She is known by many positions with known Indian politician, cabinet minister. She has served in various senior positions. But one of the positions, one of the most important position which we know that she is a great well-wisher of Amity. Thank you so very much, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. When her office told us about this wonderful event, our vice chancellor was very happy. The moment she came to know, she said, "Oh, I will be having another opportunity to meet and welcome Dr. Bahuguna Joshi." Thank you so very much. This wonderful centenary, we have seen, we have just passed Pitra Paksh. We have seen, we remember our parents, our grandparents, we remember the Pitras. But how many of us continue to do that? I remember a few years ago, ma'am did same for her father also. Now it is for her mother. So this Vad Vivad Pratiyogta, this debate competition, I do not know, Dr. Mahima, you know better, but it is not Vivad. It is Prativad, I think. It is Vad, Prativad. And when we speak for, when we speak against, definitely we are having different perspectives. And that is what the objective of this wonderful competition is, where Dr. Joshi has announced that there will be 40 plus colleges who will be participating from Uttar Pradesh. 14. 40, yes. Yeah, I said 40. And the final will be taking place after choosing the pearls, the diamonds, the winners from every college. And all these people will be there. And I was told that everyone will be getting a chance to get some kind of appreciation. This is a wonderful event, ma'am. And this is, I think, nothing can be better than that. So I would not be taking much of the time on behalf of Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, the founder president of Amity Universe, Dr. Atul Chauhan, Chancellor of Amity Universe, Dr. Balwinder Shukla, Vice Chancellor, Madam, all the esteemed members of our student activity club and committee, universities presentation, Dr. Jay Saini, Dr. H.P. Singh, Dr. Mahima, Professor, Dr. Nisha, all the judges, I welcome. And I request all the participants, when they are standing on this dais, they have to speak from the heart. This topic is very, very important. Can reservation for women in India truly achieve gender equality? And if you really know the sense of this topic, if you really know the depth of this topic, I think then only you can do the justice. It is irrespective whether you are speaking for or you are speaking against. The only point of view is when you are speaking, you should be speaking with 100% of yours. Wish you all the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Ganesh Jatav, sir, Gautam Budh Nagar program organizer, to introduce the debate competition.
Please welcome him with a huge round of applause.
धन्यवाद अनिरुद्ध और आकाश, जो आज इस वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता को होस्ट कर रहे हैं। मंच पर उपस्थित श्रीमती कमला बहुगुणा जन्म शताब्दी वर्ष के शुभ अवसर पर जो वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता पूरे भारतवर्ष में 40 यूनिवर्सिटियों से होकर गुजरेगी, जिसका प्रथम चरण हम सभी के बीच में है। मंच पर उपस्थित हमारी पूर्व केंद्रीय मंत्री, पूर्व सांसद और एक वरिष्ठ राजनेता आदरणीय रीता बहुगुणा जी हमारे बीच में, जिनका हमें हमेशा हेमवती नंदन बहुगुणा स्मृति समिति को सहयोग मिला है। जब भी जिस भी तरीके के कार्यक्रम हेमवती नंदन बहुगुणा स्मृति समिति ने किए हैं, उन सभी कार्यक्रमों में बढ़ चढ़कर जिन्होंने रुचि दिखाई है, आदरणीय हमारे इस एमआईटी यूनिवर्सिटी की बलविंदर शुक्ला जी, मैं उनका धन्यवाद करता हूं और शुक्रिया इसलिए अदा करता हूं कि हमेशा जब भी हेमवती नंदन स्मृति समिति ने इस तरीके की प्रोग्राम किए हैं, वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिताएं की हैं, उन प्रोग्रामों में हमेशा वो स्वयं उपस्थित भी रही हैं। और जब हमारा 2019 में बहुत बड़ा कार्यक्रम हमारे श्रद्धेय स्वतंत्रता सेनानी, पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री उत्तर प्रदेश और भारत के विभिन्न पदों पर अपनी सेवाएं देने वाले गरीबों मजदूरों के नेता हेमवती नंदन बहुगुणा जी की जन्म शताब्दी वर्ष मनाया गया था, तो मैडम उसके फाइनल में भी लखनऊ में उपस्थित थी। तो मैं पुनः आदरणीय मैम का धन्यवाद करता हूं, शुक्रिया अदा करता हूं। आज मैं आपके बीच में इस कार्यक्रम की प्रस्तावना रखने के लिए आया। इस कार्यक्रम को किस तरीके से आयोजित किया जा रहा है, इस कार्यक्रम की क्या मानक होंगे, क्या इसके दिशा निर्देश होंगे, उन सभी कार्यक्रमों के बारे में मैं आपको मंच के माध्यम से बताना चाहता हूं। हमारा हेमवती नंदन बहुगुणा स्मृति समिति के माध्यम से जो ये वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता का शुभारंभ 15 अक्टूबर को किया गया था, उसी के क्रम में आज एमटी यूनिवर्सिटी के इस सभागार में इसका आयोजन चल रहा है। ये हमारा 15 अक्टूबर से लेकर 30 अक्टूबर तक इस वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता का प्रथम चरण होगा, जिसमें 40 यूनिवर्सिटियों के प्रतिभागी छात्र एवं छात्राएं उसमें अपना प्रतिभाग करेंगे। और जो भी इन 40 यूनिवर्सिटियों से प्रथम आएंगे, उनको लखनऊ में एक वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता का भव्य आयोजन किया जाएगा और लखनऊ में उसका जो समापन होगा, उस समापन समारोह में जो प्रथम श्रेणी में हमारा छात्र या छात्राएं प्रतिभाग चुने जाएंगे, उनको 51,000 रुपए की राशि, एक प्रतीक चिन्ह और सर्टिफिकेट उनको दिया जाएगा। द्वितीय आने वाले छात्र और छात्राओं को 31,000 रुपए की राशि और एक ट्रॉफी और सर्टिफिकेट दिया जाएगा और तृतीय आने वाले छात्र को 21,000 रुपए की राशि और सर्टिफिकेट और प्रतीक चिन्ह दिया जाएगा। इसके बावजूद जितने भी हमारे 40 यूनिवर्सिटियों से छात्र वहां पर आएंगे, उन सभी छात्रों को 2100 रुपए का वाउचर हमारी स्मृति समिति की तरफ से, आदरणीय मैम की तरफ से दिया जाएगा। और जो भी छात्र वहां पर आएंगे चुनकर, उन सबके रहने की व्यवस्थाएं जो है हमारी समिति करेगी और सभी बच्चों को वहां पर पुरस्कृत करने का कार्य किया जाएगा। मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि जो वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता जिस शख्सियत के बारे में हो रही है, उनका अपने आप में वो एक रोल मॉडल है और रोल मॉडल महिलाओं के लिए है। आप मंच पे देख रहे हैं, आज हमें खुशी की बात भी है कि हमारे मंच पे भी 2 महिलाएं हैं और 2 महिलाओं ने अपने अपने क्षेत्र में अपने अपने आप को स्थापित किया है। हमारी वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता का विषय कुछ इसी तरीके का है कि क्या महिलाओं को आरक्षण देने से वास्तविक समानता हासिल की जा सकती है, हाँ या ना। डिबेट के दोनों चरण हैं। आप किसी भी विषय को चुनकर अपने विषय को रख सकते हैं। किसी भी विषय में किसी के ऊपर कोई बाउंडेशन नहीं है कि आपको उसके फेवर में बोलना है या उसके अगेंस्ट में बोलना है। आप किसी भी तरीके से अपनी प्रतिभा का परिचय आप दे सकते हैं। महिलाओं को किस तरीके के अधिकार मिलने चाहिए, उन अधिकारों पे बहस होनी चाहिए। और माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी भी इस विषय पे बड़े गंभीर हैं। आपने देखा है कि अभी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने किस तरीके से महिलाओं को उच्च श्रेणी में रखते हुए नारी शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम पास किया है। अब भारत की राजनीति में बहुत बड़ी संख्या हमारी महिलाओं की होने जा रही है, बहुत बड़ी भागीदारी महिलाओं को। तो हर विषय पे चर्चा होनी चाहिए और इस चर्चा को लेकर आगे जो बढ़े हैं, उनका नाम है रीता बहुगुणा जोशी, जिन्होंने अपनी माता को मानक मानते हुए, जिन्होंने अपनी मम्मी को अपना आइडल मानते हुए, उनके ही जन्म शताब्दी वर्ष पर इस कार्यक्रम को आयोजित करने का कार्य किया है। उन्होंने अपनी मम्मी के जो एफर्ट थे, किन परिस्थितियों में वो पढ़ी, किन परिस्थितियों में वो राजनीति के अंदर आई और किन परिस्थितियों में उन्होंने अपने बच्चों को सही दिशा दिखाने का काम किया, इस विषय पे ही हो सकता है कि आदर्श मानते हुए उस संकल्प को आगे लेते हुए उन्होंने इस विषय को सोचा। अब से पूर्व भी हेमवती नंदन बहुगुणा जी के जन्म शताब्दी वर्ष पे जो वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता हुई थी, जिसमें मैडम स्वयं वहां पर उपस्थित थी, उस वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता में भी बहुत होनहार बच्चे आए और जो विषय था वो विषय ऑडिटोरियम के अंदर रखा और बहुत ही अच्छा माहौल रहा। मैं तो सभी लोगों को शुभकामनाएं यही दूंगा कि आप अपने विषय को रखें और जब इस विषय को लेकर आप लखनऊ जाएं तो लखनऊ में भी आप अपने यूनिवर्सिटी की तरफ से, मैं चाहता हूं कि हम प्रथम श्रेणी के अब उसको जीत के आए, अपने इनाम को लें और प्रथम जो इनाम है उसको एमआईटी यूनिवर्सिटी के नाम करें। और महिलाओं के विषय में जो मैं बात कह रहा था, वो महिलाओं के विषय की बात हमारे जो आज डैश पे बैठे हैं हमारी दोनों महिलाएं हैं, उनके अपने अपने जीवन का भी बहुत बड़ा बड़ा अनुभव है। मैं मैम से, बलविंदर जी से तो बहुत ज़्यादा परिचित भी हूँ, उनके स्वभाव से बड़ा इम्प्रेस भी रहता हूँ। हमेशा समय समय पे मैं उनसे दिशा निर्देश लेता रहता हूँ। किसी चीज़ पे मुझे कुछ पूछना होता है तो मैं उनको स्वयं फ़ोन भी कर लेता हूँ। व्यस्त कार्यक्रम में होने के बावजूद भी वो हमें दिशा दिखाने का कार्य करती है। और दूसरी शख्सियत जो है वो हमारी मेंटोर है, जिन्होंने भारतीय राजनीति में अपने माता पिता के आदर्शों को ही आगे बढ़ाने का काम किया है। उनके घर में हमेशा राजनीति का माहौल रहा, लेकिन जब उन्होंने अपने राजनीतिक जीवन की शुरुआत की तो पहले उन्होंने अपने कैरियर को संवारा। उनकी माताजी और उनके पिताजी भी यही कहते थे कि जब तक हम राजनीति के अंदर हैं तब तक हम किसी भी अपने बच्चे को राजनीति के अंदर नहीं आने देंगे। तो उन्होंने अपना पढ़ाई के क्षेत्र में इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर उन्होंने अपनी शिक्षा देने का काम किया और उनके पढ़े हुए बच्चे आज भारत की राजनीति में ही नहीं, वो हर क्षेत्र में आगे भारत का नाम रोशन करने का काम कर रहे हैं। हमेशा जब वो राजनीति के अंदर आई तो अपनी प्रतिभा के चलते ही भारत सरकार ने हुए 5 वर्ष तक यूएनओ के एडवाइजर सलाहकार नियुक्त करने का काम किया 1997 से 2000 के बीच में, और 2003 में संयुक्त राष्ट्र संघ में दक्षिण एशिया की प्रथम प्रभावशाली मेयर चुनने का काम आदरणीय रीता बहुगुणा जोशी जी के नाम हुआ। ये मैं इसलिए बता रहा हूँ क्योंकि महिलाओं के बारे में जब हमारी सोच होती है तो वो दोयम दर्जे की हो जाती है, लेकिन जिनके अंदर क्षमता होती है उनको दिशा दिखाने की आवश्यकता नहीं होती, वो हमेशा अपना नाम रोशन करने की बात करती है। उन्होंने जहां एक राजनेता का ही धर्म नहीं निभाया, उन्होंने एक पुत्री होने का भी धर्म निभाया। जब वो भारत की राजनीति में प्रभावशाली पदों पे थे, जब वो उत्तर प्रदेश की मंत्री थी, तो उन्होंने माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के समक्ष आदरणीय बाबू जी के विषय और विचार रखे। तो आदरणीय बाबू जी के विषय और विचारों से प्रभावित होकर हमारे भारत के प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी जी ने हमारा डाक टिकट जारी करने का काम बाबूजी के नाम पे किया, तो हमें ये गौरव की बात है। और मैडम ने जब योगी आदित्यनाथ जी के बीच में उनके विषय को रखा तो योगी आदित्यनाथ जी ने भी उत्तर प्रदेश के वित्त मंत्रालय के अंदर बाबूजी की प्रतिमा स्थापित करने का काम किया। ये एक बेटी कर सकती है, एक परिवार की नेत्री नहीं कर सकती। जिनके विचार जिनके अंदर समाहित हो सकते हैं वही कर सकती है। उनकी कर्म भूमि इलाहाबाद प्रयागराज के अंदर उन्होंने मुख्य चौराहे पर बाबूजी की प्रतिमा लगाने का कहा। अब दूसरा धर्म वो निभा रही हैं कमला बहुगुणा जी के विषय में, जो हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश से दूसरी सांसद चुनी गई थी। आप समझ सकते हैं कि जब उनका चयन लोकसभा के अंदर हुआ तो दूसरी प्रभावशाली महिला के रूप में हुआ, और तब परिस्थितियां महिलाओं के अनुकूल नहीं थी, लेकिन उन्होंने महिलाओं को आगे लाने के लिए अपने जीवन को समर्पित किया और अपने विचारों से, अपने आदर्शों से आगे बढ़ी, और आप उनके आदर्शों को आगे बढ़ाने का काम हमारे आदरणीय रीता बहुगुणा जी कर रहे हैं। इस वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता के माध्यम से वो यही संदेश देना चाहती हैं कि हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा महिलाओं को मोटिवेट करें, उनको उनके अधिकार दिलाएं, और किस तरीके से हम दिला सकते हैं इस पे एक आओ बहस करें मिलकर, जिसमें अमेठी यूनिवर्सिटी आज इसमें सम्मिलित होने जा रही है। मैं सभी बच्चों को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं, शुभकामना देता हूं, और उम्मीद करता हूं कि आने वाले हमारे नवंबर माह में जब हमारी ये प्रतियोगिता होगी तो हमारा एमएटी नंबर 1 आएगा। मैं इसी आशा और विश्वास के साथ में आप सभी को धन्यवाद करता हूं। नमस्कार। हमारे बीच में हमारे प्रकाश हॉस्पिटल के सीएमडी और जाने माने नेता आदरणीय वीएस चौहान जी हैं, हम उनका भी स्वागत और अभिनंदन करते हैं। आदित्य घड़ियाल जी हैं, उनका भी हम धन्यवाद करते हैं, हमारी समिति से ही हैं। और मैं क्षमा चाहता हूं, मैं हमारे प्रोवीसी साहब संजीव बंसल जी का, आदरणीय चंद्रदीप टंडन जी का, और जो इस कार्यक्रम को आयोजित करा रहे हैं कोऑर्डिनेटर आदरणीय एचपी सिंह जी जो डीन स्टूडेंट वेलफेयर हैं, आदरणीय भाई जय सैनी जी जो डायरेक्टर स्टूडेंट वेलफेयर एंड सपोर्ट, और हमारे ज्यूरी आज की जो इस वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता के जजेज है, मैं उनका भी सम्मान के साथ में अपनी समिति की तरफ से धन्यवाद और अभिनंदन करता हूं। प्रोफेसर डॉक्टर महिमा गुप्ता जी, हिमांशु गुप्ता जी और डॉक्टर निशा मिश्रा जी, मैं अपने हेमवती नंदन बहुगुणा स्मृति समिति की तरफ से आप सभी लोगों का हृदय से आभार और शुभकामना देता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words.
It is now our privilege to invite our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Dr. Balvinder Shukla ma'am. Her visionary leadership and unwavering commitment to academic excellency have been instrumental in shaping the future of countless students. Under her dynamic guidance, MIT University continues to scale new heights in education and innovation. Ma'am, we kindly request you to grace the stage and enlighten us with your inspiring thoughts. Your presence and words of wisdom are truly invaluable to us.
A very esteemed Dr. Rita Bahuguna ji, former member of Lok Sabha and great visionary and personal level, a dear friend, a sister. You know, if Rita ji says something, I cannot say no to her. And because this relationship comes from our parents. My father and Rita ji's father knew each other very well, visited each other's houses, discussed many things. And I was very little child at that time. So something which you have seen in your childhood, and if there's memories stay, those are the most cherished memories in your life. And it is the God, I would say, that he has made us to meet again. And so whatever, because the kind of work Rita ji is saying and doing, but before that, the late Himvati Nandan Bahuguna ji, our former CM, the work what he has done, rather I would say this family has done, that has shaped many things in the society. And also when the great people are born to the great parents, they also, when they carry the legacy of their parents, that is bound to change many things in the society. The laws has been made, the reservation for women has been made, but bringing that topic, can reservation for women in India truly achieve the gender equality? That is I think is extremely important. We are talking about the Viksit Bharat and how the women are going to play a very important role. Reservation alone, I don't want to say this side or that side from this stage, but I think we have to look at the various aspects. We have to look at what is our societal framework, what is our legal framework, what is our economic framework. If we look at from the all aspects and how the Education is also shaping. The technology has come. I remember when the COVID pandemic was there, the how many girls education gone at that time. But at the same time, when the COVID was there and the so many companies, whether it's male or female, work from home was there. And that work from home now, so many people are taking advantage of that. And their women are able to handle the household chores at the professional life also. But then when we go to the rural India, the interiors, the life of the woman, so many aspects that I'm so sure the debate which is going to start today will be bringing all kinds of points for and against. And debate will not end today. It is just the beginning. And that debate will continue in 40 colleges across the state. And the cream from each university, from each college, I would say the most sharpest mind with the highly convincing points when they will reach in Lucknow at the culmination. You can imagine what quality of debate will be happening on that day. And again, I said that debate will not end on that day, but that debate will initiate many discussions, many debates, and that will also trigger the start of many policies, maybe at the block level, maybe at the district level, maybe at the state level, because we have the movement at all levels. And that their life, their conditions, their issues are very different. Some are the common one, but when are very the localized, very different. Unless we address those women will not reach to the parliament where we have the reservation. So I think the grassroots level work is very important. So therefore, this today youth, when we'll start discussing these points, and at Amity University we have something called human values and community outreach, where our students work with the community. Understanding, I think this can also be given the project to the students, when they are in doing the community engagement, they may be doing the research key, what exactly is happening in the community, in the society, in the rural India. And those issues becomes then even more important, the research base, which can later on can be, made the recommendation document can be given of those. Ganesh Chatterjee, very nicely, you have really presented the life of, the late Shrimati Kamla Bhogunaji. And I think that it is really fortunate that our dear Rita ji is born from such a great lady. And her values, ma'am, is spreading in the world, which need to be spread. So, ma'am, thank you so very much that you took this initiative. कहते ना माँ तो हर एक को बहुत प्यारी होती है और उस सारे में वैल्यू, लेकिन एक जो सिर्फ माँ का ही रिश्ता होता है वो 9 महीने वाला, वो कनेक्ट एक अलग ही होता है माँ का और माँ के बच्चों का, और वहां से जो वैल्यू आती है वो एक अलग ही होती है। बाकी तो आप भारी संसार से लेते हो, माँ ने तो 9 महीने पहले से वैल्यूज देनी शुरू कर दी और उन्हीं वैल्यूज को आगे नर्चर किया, और वो वैल्यूज कैसे आती हैं कि आप क्या उस 9 महीने में अपना लाइफस्टाइल रखते हो, उन 9 महीने में आप क्या सोच रखते हो, और 9 महीने में आपका क्या खान पान है, वो सब मिलके एक इंसान का सिर्फ एक बॉडी ढांचा ही नहीं बनता है, उसमें संस्कार वहीं से आ जाते हैं। अब वन्यू का हमने देख ही रखा है कि तो इसलिए जो है आज मैं बहुत खुश हूं कि एमिटी यूनिवर्सिटी इस डिबेट को होस्ट कर रही है, और हमारे ऑनरेबल फाउंडर प्रेसिडेंट का हमेशा विजन रहा है कि जो महान शख्सियत हैं इस देश की, जो एक तरह से रोल मॉडल हैं, एग्जाम्पल्स हैं, उनको उनकी लाइफ को कैसे स्टूडेंट के सामने लाया जाए। तो इट्स ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी कि आज उन्हीं के वैल्यूज के बेसिस पे, उन्हीं की लाइफ के बेसिस पे जब हम उनकी सेंटेनरी सेलिब्रेट करने जा रहे हैं, और जिस चीज को लेट श्रीमती कमला बहुगुणा जी ने हमेशा उठाया है, उस पर आज आप लोग डिबेट करने जा रहे हो। तो मेरी सारे स्टूडेंट्स को बहुत बहुत पहले तो बधाई कि आपके डोमेन ने आपको सेलेक्ट किया है और यहाँ पे भेजा है। अब यहाँ से जो भी विन करेंगे they will go to Lucknow. So my best wishes to all of you, whoever wins. And in the debates, it always happens the best brain with best logic wins. So my best wishes to all of you. God bless you. I want to especially welcome three very important persons. I welcome all the guests, but my special thanks to Dr. D.S. Chauhanji, Chairman and Managing Director of Prakash Hospital. Thank you so very much sparing your time. Mr. Aditya Ghardialji, Amity Business School and New Holland Tractor are of same age. And when the New Holland Tractor was established, all their training program were conducted in Amity Business School in Sector 44. So our relationship is as old as APS. And Ganesh Jatav ji, आपका तो क्या कहना? आई थिंक आपने बहुत बड़ा कनेक्ट हमारा बनाए रखा मैम के साथ, क्योंकि जो आपका रोज मैसेज आता है इतना मोटिवेशनल कविता, तो मैं ऑलमोस्ट हर दिन ही मैम को याद करती हूँ। तो कुछ चीजें होती है ना, कुछ रिश्ते ऐसे बन जाते हैं, वो एक दिन के लिए नहीं होता, वो हमेशा के लिए होते हैं। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच एंड माय स्पेशल वेलकम टू ऑल द गेस्ट हु हैव कम विद रीटा मैम जी।
Thank you, ma'am, for your wisdom and guidance, which will undoubtedly leave a lasting impression on all of us.
Now it is with great honor that we now invite our esteemed chief guest, Professor Dr. Bahuguna Joshi ji, former member of parliament and a distinguished leader. Ma'am, we are deeply privileged to have you as well today.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, and I'm very grateful to the Vice Chancellor and a good friend of mine, not only through academics but also through family connections, Dr. Balvinder Shukla ji, Dr. Sanjeev Bansal, Additional Pro VC, Dr. Chandradeep Tandon ji, Additional Pro VC, the very good coordinators that we have, high-level coordinators, Dr. H.P. Singh, Dean Students Welfare, Shri Jay Saini, Director, Students Welfare and Support, and the esteemed judges, Professor Dr. Mahima Gupta, Professor Dr. Himanshu Gupta, and Dr. Nishi Mishra, and of course, all the other faculty members and administrative wing people here, and my very esteemed colleagues, friends, and very good professionally established in their own fields. Dr. Vijay Chauhan, who is not only the founder of the Prakash Hotel, but also runs Prakash Institute of Medicine. And of course, Aditya Ghardialji, whom I've known for decades as a good industrialist and the one who connects the business world to the social sectors. And so, and along with them, I have Ganesh Jatav, who has worked with me since his very young age. and has helped me coordinate this program. And we have Shekhar Pandit and many others who are here, who have been as youngsters supporting this program. It's my privilege to be here for the second time for an event like this. Earlier, when it was my father's centenary year, 2019, I was here a little earlier in 2018 before the COVID hit us for a similar program, which was extremely well attended, and I think they were very good speakers, and we had 40 universities at time also. And when we had the finale in Lucknow, Agra University won, which was quite unusual. We had not thought that because it is considered that academically that university comes a little behind others. But they won the first prize and they beautifully presented themselves. It was on social media and its relevance. Now this time we picked upon, it's my mother's birth centenary, Kamla Bahuguna. She was Kamla Tripathi earlier. My father was a great historian and a profound, he was also vice chancellor, and he presided over the World Congress of History several times. And it is her birth centenary. So I thought it was my duty to bring out some issue or some topic which only relates to us, to women. Because she born in 1924 in a middle class family. This young girl who was the second sibling in the family, and the first was a son, then 3 daughters. My mother was second. Her brother, the older brother, the only son of my grandfather, my nana, was not very keenly interested in studies. He had different, applications. He liked other fields. And my mother was very inquisitive since her childhood. So my grandfather concentrated on my mother instead of on his only son. And the best education and the best opportunities that he offered to his children, it was open for all, was to Kamala, who was his second child and the first daughter. Now, even today, in the 21st century, we are talking about equality for women. We are talking about respect, dignity of women, security of women. And we are saying that still we are being discriminated at the family level. So we are still looking for you to say respect in the family, equality in the family. Let's not talk about some privileged girls and women like us. Let us talk about the mass of the Indian women. और जो अधिकांश इलाहाबाद हिंदुस्तान की लड़कियां हैं वो तो अभी घर में ही संघर्ष कर रही हैं. और इस संघर्ष को सोचो, 1924 में एक पिता ने अपनी पुत्री को वो सारा माहौल दिया, वो विश्वास दिया, वो कॉन्फिडेंस दिया कि उन्होंने भारत के उत्तर प्रदेश के इतिहास में महिला नेत्रियों में और समाज सेवियों में जबरदस्त लीक की थी. और कमला का नाम मैं समझती हूँ दशकों तक वन ऑफ द मोस्ट प्रोमिनेंट विमेन लीडर्स एंड सोशल एक्टिविस्ट ऑफ यूपी में जाना गया. She died in 2001. You were not even born then, most of you. So I thought that it is very necessary to bring out role models and their lives to you and to debate on issues which were dear then and even now. तब भी ये relevant थे, आज भी relevant है. So my mother was a member of the Banar Sena of Indira Gandhi. She studied in a hostel in Missouri, and she was into the 1942 movement in the forefront of the 1942 Quit India movement as a student of Allahabad University. अब आज हम जब आपके कैंपस में घुसे, प्रवेश किए, इतनी भीड़ देखी, उसमें हम नहीं कह सकते थे लड़के ज्यादा हैं. दिखता था लड़कियां ज्यादा हैं लड़कों से, ऐसी वहां पर फैलाव स्टूडेंट्स का है. लेकिन मेरी माँ बताती थी मुझे कि 1940 में जब वो विश्वविद्यालय में एंटर की 41 में, तो सिर्फ 125 लड़कियां थी. 4000 लड़के थे, 125 लड़कियां थी. पर उन लड़कियों में भी आधी लड़कियां ऐसी थी जो राष्ट्रवाद से प्रेरित होकर 42 के आंदोलन में सक्रिय हुई. द नेहरूज, द काटजूस, बहुत सारी. इलाहाबाद तो वाज द हब ऑफ द फ्रीडम मूवमेंट. और जब वहां पर गांधी जी ने कॉल दिया, करो या मरो, डू और डाई, Britishers quit India, Allahabad University was in the forefront of the movement. My father was the president of the union and my mother was the executive member. They led on the 12th of August. They defied Section 144. There was firing on the crowd, on the Julus, and one student died. But the girls, which were just about half a dozen, they were in the forefront of the movement. तब से लेकर और अपनी डेथ तक बहुत सारा उन्होंने नेशनल मूवमेंट में काम किया, फिर इंडिपेंडेंट मूवमेंट में काम किया। और मैं कैसे आपको बताऊं कि शी वाज अ ट्रू गांधीयन। शी वाज द फर्स्ट वुमन टू बी इलेक्टेड as the president of the Zilla Panchayat, which is then known as the district board in UP. She was in the question of the PCS examination, who was the first woman to be a member of the, or rather, the president of the district board in UP. That was Kamla Bahuguna. And from there to a member parliament, just about 19 women in the parliament in the year 2000, in the year 1977. जयप्रकाश के आंदोलन के बाद कितनी महिलाओं ने काम किया, लेकिन जब मैंने वहां से नाम निकाले, उत्तर प्रदेश से 2 या शायद 3 थी। एक डॉक्टर सुशीला नैयर थी, बहुत बड़ा नाम था उस जमाने का। शी वाज आल्सो कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर, माय मदर। Just 2 women MPs of great renown were in the parliament, and the way she debated in the parliament is, अब तो खैर रिकॉर्ड तब नहीं होता, तब तो हम लोगों की स्पीचेस रिकॉर्ड हुई हैं, लेकिन बड़ी फायरी लेडी थी। तो मैं जब आपसे कहती हूं कि हमारा जो मूवमेंट है पूरा एक वेलफेयर प्रोग्राम से विमेन मूवमेंट शुरू होता है। इट कम्स टू एनेबलमेंट एंड देन इट कम्स टू एम्पावरमेंट। These are the stages of the movement in the women's movement. 40 years I've been clearly associated with women's movements. I was a part of the women's movement all the time, working for the women. And I can tell you, हम 21वीं सदी में बहुत आगे पहुंच गए हैं। हमने आपसे जैसे एजुकेशन की बात की, हायर एजुकेशन में लड़कियां कहाँ थी पहले? 1952 में लिटरेसी का रेट क्या था, आपने पढ़ा होगा जो लोग डिबेट करेंगे, 8.6 लिटरेसी रेट। तो यूनिवर्सिटी में कितने बच्चे होंगे हायर एजुकेशन में, आप सोच लो कितने रहे होंगे। और आज की तारीख में 48% से ज्यादा लड़कियां हायर एजुकेशन में हैं, करोड़ों बच्चियां हैं। सो दिस रियली मैटर्स। ऐसा नहीं है कि हम बहुत पीछे रह गए, वी आर प्रोग्रेसिंग। पीपल आर सेइंग व्हाई रिजर्वेशन, आई आल्सो से वी शुड compete in merit, बट लेवल प्लेइंग ग्राउंड तो मिलो दो। लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड कहाँ है? एक मिडिल क्लास फैमिली अपने सब बच्चों को क्वालिटी एजुकेशन नहीं दे सकता। वो परिवार में एक को चुनेगा, 2 को चुनेगा। कितनी एक्सपेंसिव एजुकेशन। तो अगर बेटा है और बेटी है तो पहला चांस तो बेटे को ही, क्योंकि लकड़ी तो उसी को देनी है। So that concept, those stereotypes are breaking in for decades now. We girls are shattering the glass ceilings. There is no doubt about it. But अभी भी बहुत कुछ करने को बाकी है, बहुत कुछ होगा। मैं तो ये सोचती हूँ, मेरी नानी का मैं आपको किस्सा बताऊं। She was just class 4 and she died when my mother was 13 years old. She called my mother to her bedside and she said, मुझे वचन दो। ये किस ईयर की बात है? 1936। मुझे वचन दो कि जब तक एमए पास नहीं कर लोगी शादी नहीं करोगी। एजुकेशन फॉर गर्ल्स इन 1936। अब 22 साल में जब मेरी निशवा ने शादी हुई, 22 साल तक, 8 साल 9 साल में तो ब्याह हो जाता था तब। तो मैं तो ये कहती हूँ कि अगर मेरी माँ ने मुझे, उनकी माँ ने उनको एम्पावर ना किया होता और उन्होंने मुझे एम्पावर ना किया होता, तो आज रीता बहुगुणा भी वहां नहीं होती, जो है, जो यूनाइटेड नेशंस की 7 साल सलाहकार होली। 32 years of teaching in the Allahabad University. I have been into the social movement. I don't know where. I've given up all my, I think 30-40 years to the social movements, different kinds. और फिर I was adjudged, I was elected independent कैंडिडेट के रूप में फर्स्ट टाइम पीपल से जनरल इलेक्शन में मैं इलाहाबाद की मेयर हुई when the 74th amendment came. I was mayor, independent, and I was then adjudged in 2003 as the most promising mayor of South Asia. And जो उनकी जो हमारी जो पहली बार यूएनडीपी ने 1997 में कमेटी बनाई, that was known as a consultative committee on local governance, and I was a member of that committee. Only 5 mayors were chosen from all over the world. Only 5. 7 continents से 5 चुने गए, एशिया से मैं चुनी गई, and I was the only member on the board of advisory board of UNDP. अब आप सोच सकते हो सकता था अगर मेरे पेरेंट्स ने, मेरे फादर ने, मेरी मदर ने मुझको एनवायरनमेंट ना दिया होता जैसे आपको भी मिला है. So, but the only clue to success in life is that one has to be confident of oneself and one's goals should be very clear. You should have a very sharp target कि आप करना क्या चाहते हो. सोशल मीडिया बहुत बेकार है आजकल हमारे यंगस्टर्स को. उसको यूजफुली यूज करिए. एक बार एस्टैब्लिश हो जाइए, then there is no end to the world. You can reach wherever you want, and that is where women empowerment will really show up. Now, this topic, I'm not going to debate this topic for you, but I'm more than sure that if it took us 40 years to have the first woman IPS officer in India, Kiran Bedi, and if we have taken close to 80 years to now get the first, we will get in 2027, say 80 years, the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Judge Nagaratan. हम सोच सकते हैं कि अभी कितना कुछ करने की आवश्यकता है. हम ये भी मानते हैं एबिलिटी को इग्नोर नहीं करना चाहिए, लेकिन मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूं, अगर लोकल गवर्नेंस में 73rd और 74th अमेंडमेंट ना आता और विमेन रिजर्वेशन इन लोकल गवर्नमेंट्स नहीं होता, तो उस समय पूरे हिंदुस्तान में पंचायती राज में, which is an age old institution of India, there was only 1% women. 33% मिला रिजर्वेशन से. हर जगह में जाती हूँ, लोग कहते हैं कि भाई क्या प्रधानपति चलाते हैं, प्रधानपति चलाते हैं. ठीक है, लेकिन ये तो रोटेशनल है ना, रोटेट कर जाती है सीट. तो जब रोटेट करते करते 5, 6, 7 चुनाव हो चुके, आपको पता है आज कितनी % women local governance में है? Who will raise the hand? We have studied this topic. 46% women are in the local governments. 33 का reservation तो बाकी कहां से आई भैया? अपनी काबिलियत से आई ना. If they had not performed well, they could not have won from general seats. आपने उनको एक बार जमीन दी, उन्होंने छाप लिया. हमको हमेशा जिंदगी भर का रिजर्वेशन नहीं चाहिए. एक बार थ्रो अप कर दो, हम ऐसा आगे बढ़ेंगे कि सबको हम पीछे कर देंगे. ये क्वालिटी और ये एबिलिटी विमेन में होती है. लेकिन ये भी सच है, reservation, as it is said, that you have to debate. Can it only, is that only one what thing that can help us achieve gender equality? ये तो नहीं हो सकता. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. सोसाइटल माइंडसेट है आपका, आपके जो स्टीरियोटाइप्स, परफॉर्मेंस है, लड़कियां साइंस नहीं पढ़ेंगी, टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं पढ़ेंगी, तो ये तो माइंडसेट की बात है ना. पर आज स्टेम में कितनी लड़कियां हैं? 51% गर्ल्स students are in STEM. They're doing science, technology, and engineering and maths. So there is no field which is not. You have today we have everything we need, but then there should be an opportunity. तो बहुत कुछ है. क्या रिजर्वेशन से हमारी सिक्योरिटी हो सकती है? क्या हमारी जो फिजिकल सिक्योरिटी उसकी क्या होगा? हमें जॉब्स का तो बहुत सारे एरियाज. इट इज इकोनॉमिक, इट इज सोशल, इट इज पॉलिटिकल. But we are a democracy, and I always say a democracy rests on 3 pillars, major pillars. The fourth is, of course, the journalists, the media. The first is legislature, then the first is judiciary, legislature, and executive. Now, let us talk about the legislature. How many women did we have before? Until now, less than 4% in the Vidhan Sabhas, and just about 14 to 15%, ranging between 11 and 15% in the Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha में तो छोड़ दो, वहां तो और भी कम है. तो ये जो हम लोगों का परसेंटेज था, अब 33 हो जाएगा. 33 होगा तो 180 women आएंगे. But what happens in the legislatures? Laws are made and laws are reviewed. So the women's voice should be prominent there. फिर आप आ जाइए एग्जीक्यूटिव में. वेरी फ्यू. हाउ मेनी डीएम्स एंड एसएसपीज और हाई लेवल ऑफिशियल्स डू वी हैव अमंगस्ट वुमेन? You come to the judiciary, the position status is still the same. What the society now has to do and what we have to do is to push or create avenues for women to lead and to come ahead. What did the Prime Minister say? He clearly said, no more women led, no more development for women. It has to be women-led development in this country. तो अब यही है, मैंने आपसे पहले भी कहा, मैंने तो तीनों स्टेजेस देखी हैं. वेलफेयर स्कीम्स का स्टेज भी देखा 75 में, जब इंटरनेशनल वुमेन्स डे शुरू हुआ. फिर हमने एनेबलमेंट की स्ट्रगल देखी 80s और 90s में, और अब 21st सेंचुरी में हम अपने एम्पावरमेंट के भी प्रोसेस को देख रहे हैं. लेट अस पुट ऑल आवर हेड्स टुगेदर and please bring out the best arguments for and against, because the best arguments will tinker our minds to think how far and how fast we have to move. I'm still grateful, very grateful to Balvinder ji, who has allowed us to be in the campus, and I hope that more students would have heard you and tried to kind of dissect this topic. पर अगर कभी भी इसको आप रिकॉर्ड करेंगे अपनी स्पीचेस को, तो प्लीज कोशिश करिए कि कभी कभी स्टूडेंट्स के इवेंट्स में जो बेस्ट आपके स्पीकर्स उनकी स्पीचेस को सुनाइए. लेट द सोसाइटी रीथिंक एंड रीथिंक एंड रीथिंक हाउ द 50% of our population can really rise, because Ambedkar had said, Baba Sahib had said, we evaluate the society. He used to say, I evaluate a society by the position of women in the society as such. And Mahatma Gandhi ने तो कहा ही था that women are a repository of energy. Once they are unleashed, they will dazzle the world. So if they had thought so, there is no reason why we should not think so much for ourselves. आप लोग खूब compete करिए. जो जीतेगा वो भी अच्छा है, जो नहीं जीतेगा वो भी अच्छा है. At least you have got into the process of contemplating and talking upon this issue. And we will have a finale in Lucknow. The best amongst you will be there. And I'm very happy. Balvinder ji was there. She is not here right now. She was there for the finale when we had it in Lucknow. Thousands of students had been there. Again, this time they will be. And we discuss and debate. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad. Jai Hind.
We extend the heartiest gratitude to our chief guest, ma'am. आज के वाद विवाद प्रतियोगिता का विषय, क्या भारत में महिलाओं को आरक्षण देने से वास्तविक समानता हासिल की जा सकती है? नारी ने बदले जगत में ना जाने कितने ही हतभाग, कि शंख सुदर्शन ही नारायण पे, शिव पर सिर्फ त्रिशूल सा अस्त्र है, ब्रह्मा ने कमंडल संभाला, सभी संभाला, दुर्गा ऐसी नारी है. क्या भारत में महिलाओं को आरक्षण देने से वास्तविक समानता हासिल की जा सकती है? यह आज का विषय है. यह विषय हमारे समाज में महिलाओं के अधिकारों और उनके उचित प्रतिनिधित्व को लेकर उठता है. आरक्षण का उद्देश्य महिलाओं को राजनीति, शिक्षा और रोजगार में अवसर देकर सशक्त बनाना है. लेकिन सवाल यह है कि क्या केवल आरक्षण से वास्तविक समानता पाई जा सकती है? समानता के लिए आरक्षण एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है, परंतु इसके साथ साथ समाज में सोच और मानसिकता में भी बदलाव जरूरी है, ताकि महिलाओं को बराबरी का स्थान मिल सके. Now, श्रीमती कमला बहुगुणा जी का जीवन संघर्ष, समर्पण और समाज सेवा का मिसाल है. उन्होंने अपने अद्वितीय नेतृत्व और दूरदर्शिता से हमेशा समाज को एक नई दिशा दी है. महिलाओं के अधिकारों और शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में उनके योगदान ने उन्हें एक प्रेरणा स्रोत बना दिया है. उनकी सादगी, त्याग और निस्वार्थ सेवा ने अनगिनत लोगों को प्रेरित किया है. कमला जी की प्रतिबद्धता और समाज के प्रति समर्पण वास्तव में सराहनीय है, और उनकी यात्रा हम सभी के लिए एक प्रेरणा का स्रोत है. Now may I request our beloved VC ma'am to present the token of gratitude and felicitate Professor Dr. Rita Bahuguna ma'am with a shawl.
Please, a huge round of applause, please. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, may I request our beloved chief guest, Ms. Rita Bahuguna ji, to present a token of gratitude and felicitate our beloved VC ma'am. A huge round of applause. Now, may I request our beloved chief guest and VC ma'am to please felicitate our judges and dear coordinators. Now, we'd like to invite our dear judges, Dr. Nisha Mishra ma'am, Professor Dr. Mahima Gupta ma'am, and Dr. Himanshu Gupta sir on the stage.
Please give a huge round of applause. Everyone, please give a huge round of applause.
Now, I would like to invite our beloved coordinators, Professor Dr. H.P. Singh sir, Dr. Jay Saini sir, and Dr. Lakshmi ma'am. Please, sir.
नहीं है एक बार सर ज्यूरी भी आ जाएगी सेंटर में
Now, I would like to call upon our DSW sir, Dr. S.P. Singh sir, to facilitate Mr. Aditya Galyal sir. I would like to invite Dr. Dr. Jay Saini sir to felicitate Ganesh Jatav sir. Please, sir. Yes, ma'am. DSW, sir, please do the honors. Dr. Jay Saini, sir, please felicitate our beloved Ganesh Jatav, sir.
Everyone, please give a huge round of applause.
With the permission of our chief. बस हो गया, ठीक है।
करता हूँ शुरू में।
अभी रुक जाता है।
बोल दियो बंदा वन वी विल कॉल द नेम।
वो तू बोलिए और उसके बाद
मैं रोज तो ही बोल रहा हूँ ना, कुछ नहीं बोल दियो तो बंदा वन विल कॉल द नेम। छोटा रखे इसको, क्यों बोल चुके हैं रोज।
ना बैठो ना, मैं कमर बहुत तेज है। चल शुरू कर सकते हैं।
Welcome to the today's stage where we celebrate the power of thoughts and the strength of arguments. We are excited to witness our participants showcase their reasoning and perspectives. Before we begin, I would like to request the esteemed presence of our guest, to uh, to grant us permissions to inaugurate the debate competition where the art of speech will shine brightly. Without further ado, let's begin the competition.
The topic for today's competition is, can reservation for women in India truly achieve gender equality? Now, before we begin, I would like to tell you about the rules and the regulation of the debate. The time limit. The time limit of the debate is 4 plus 1 minutes. 4 minutes for your speech and 1 minute for cross questioning. A single tap will be sounded at 3 minutes, double tap at 4 minutes. I request the judges to not mark the participants after a double tap. For the cross questioning, when the 1 minute of the cross questioning is over, a triple tap will be there. That means your speech has finally concluded. Language. You can either deliver your speech in English or in Hindi. I request all the participants to maintain proper decorum, and the cross questioning can be only done by the judges. No participants are allowed to intervene in between speeches and are not allowed to ask any questions. Notes uses. No mobile phone or any other electronic device is allowed here on the podium. If you have notes, you can bring them up here just to refer. No reading is allowed. You can bring them here to jog up your memory or just to look for a brief moment.
Now we'll call one by one with your names to present over a stage.
Before we call our participants, I would like to tell that we have two mics here. Either you can use the cordless mic or the podium mic as you feel. There's no compulsory.
आदित्य शर्मा, जो क्या भारत में महिलाओं को आरक्षण देने से वास्तविक समानता हासिल की जा सकती है के पक्ष में बोलेंगे। उनके बाद मोहिनी शर्मा, जो उनके विपक्ष में बोलेंगी।
May I start? सभागार में उपस्थित पूर्व सांसद इलाहाबाद लोकसभा, पूर्व केंद्रीय मंत्री श्रीमती रीता बहुगुणा जोशी जी, विद्यालय की कुलपति डॉक्टर बलविंदर शुक्ला जी, जिनके मार्गदर्शन में हम लोग हर कार्यक्रम करते हैं और विगत कई वर्षों से एमआईटी विश्वविद्यालय ना सिर्फ इस देश का बल्कि विश्व का प्रख्यात विश्वविद्यालय बना हुआ है। मेरा नाम आदित्य शर्मा है और मैं तृतीय वर्ष लॉ का छात्र हूं। आज का जो विषय है, क्या आरक्षण देने से जो आप जो इनइक्वालिटी हमारे समाज में है उससे महिलाओं को सशक्त किया जा सकता है। यत्र नारस्तु पूज्यन्ते रमन्त तत्र देवता, यह हमारे शास्त्रों में कहा गया है। अर्थात जहां पर स्त्रियां होती हैं वहां देवताओं का वास होता है। अगर अपनी संस्कृति की बात करें, सनातन हिंदू परंपरा की बात करें, तो हमारे सनातन धर्म में हमेशा शिव के साथ पार्वती का नाम लिया जाता है, कृष्ण के साथ राधा का नाम लिया जाता है, विद्या की देवी सरस्वती हैं और दुर्गा का नाम लिया जाता है। तो अगर हम बात करें अपने पुराने समय की, अपने धर्म की, तो हमेशा से हमेशा महिलाओं को ना सिर्फ बराबर का अधिकार बल्कि महिलाओं को हमेशा से पुरुषों से आगे रखा गया। अब सवाल यह आ गया, तो रिजर्वेशन क्यों चाहिए महिलाओं को आगे करने के लिए? तो जी, जिस युग में हम जी रहे हैं, जिसको हम कहते हैं ये कथित मॉडर्न युग है, तो इस युग में हम लोगों ने एक बात बना दी कि महिलाएं ये नहीं कर सकती हैं, महिलाएं ये काम नहीं कर सकती हैं, महिलाएं वो नहीं कर सकती हैं। इसलिए हमको रिजर्वेशन की जरूरत पड़ गई। हमारे समाज में, हमारे संस्कृति में ये परंपरा है कि जब भी कोई नया घर लेता है, नव भवन होता है, तो महिलाओं का हाथ का निशान लिया जाता है। कई लोग तो पालथी लगाकर महिलाओं की जो घर की लक्ष्मी होती है उनके पहले पद चिन्ह लेती है कि उसके बाद हमारा गृह प्रवेश होगा। तो हमारी संस्कृति में तो ये बहुत पुराना है। लेकिन अगर हम हमारे देश की बात करें तो हमारे देश में 73rd 74th अमेंडमेंट आया, उससे लोकल बॉडीज में हमको रिजर्वेशन दिया गया महिलाओं को। लेकिन उसके बाद भी हालात सही नहीं थे। ये बहुत जरूरी था कि जो हमारा अपर हाउस ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट है, यानी कि लोकसभा है, राज्यसभा है, वहां पर भी महिलाओं को हिस्सेदारी दी जाए। अब आप देखिए कि महिलाओं की अगर आप बात करते हैं तो यूनिवर्स भी आपको किस तरीके से आगे रखता है। मैं सबसे बेस्ट एग्जांपल देता हूं आप लोगों को हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी का। हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी का भले चुनावी भाषण हो या वो विश्व पटल पर किसी भी सभा को एज अ प्रधानमंत्री संबोधित कर रहे हो, चुनाव से पहले उन्होंने कहा कि इस देश में केवल 4 जातियां हैं और 4 जातियों में से एक जाति महिला जाति उन्होंने रखी। और आप देखिए लोकसभा का रिजल्ट, तीसरी बार सबसे बड़ी डेमोक्रेसी के वो प्रधानमंत्री चुन के आए। उनकी अगर आप योजना देखिए, भली उज्ज्वला योजना में महिलाओं को आगे रख के वो बात करते हैं, लखपति दीदी अभी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने चालू किया, तो आप देखिए उन्होंने महिला की बात करी और यूनिवर्स ने उनको कितना आगे रखा कि वो आज तीसरी बार लगातार प्रधानमंत्री बने। 2023 में हमारे पार्लियामेंट में जब ये बिल आया नारी सशक्तिकरण, जिसमें 33% इन लोकसभा, राज्यसभा और उसके बाद जितनी भी हमारी स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज हैं और एनसीटी ऑफ दिल्ली, उसमें महिलाओं को जगह देने की बात करी गई। खैर ये लागू अभी नहीं हुआ है, लागू होगा 2029 में, जब हमारा डिलिमिटेशन हो जाएगा, सेंसस हो जाएगा, उसके बाद ये लागू होगा। लेकिन ये बहुत जरूरी था। अगर हम बात करें 2024 लोकसभा के नतीजों की, तो 2024 लोकसभा की अगर हम बात करें तो 2024 लोकसभा में जो महिला चुन के आई उनकी संख्या थी 77, जो कि पिछले कुछ वर्षों से लगातार से बहुत ज्यादा है। 1974 में एक रिपोर्ट थी जिसमें एक सरकार, जो उस वक्त की सरकार थी, उसने कमेटी का गठन किया। कमेटी का नाम था ऑन द स्टेटस ऑफ वुमेन इन इंडिया। उस कमेटी ने जब अपनी रिपोर्ट फाइल करी तो उसके 7 चैप्टर में उसमें यह लिखा गया कि पॉलिटिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन आज भी महिलाओं की जो है वो बहुत खतरे में है। सोचिए, उस वक्त की सरकार ने सर्वे कराया, उस वक्त की सरकार ने कमेटी बनाई, अपनी ही रिपोर्ट में उस सरकार ने लिखा कि हाँ, लेकिन 1974 से आज 2024 हो गया, 2024 तक किसी भी सरकार ने कुछ नहीं किया। तो अपना विषय समाप्त करूंगा। यह बहुत जरूरी कदम था जो कि 2024 में प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अपने नेतृत्व में किया, और मुझे लगता है कि रिजर्वेशन की अभी भी हमें बहुत जरूरत है, और खासकर अगर राजनीति के फील्ड में महिलाओं को आगे आना है जिससे समाज का बदलाव हो सकता है, तो ये बहुत जरूरी है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Any cross question? Okay. मोहिनी शर्मा, मोहिनी शर्मा,
थैंक यू।
सभागार में बैठे सभी माननीय अतिथिगण, माननीय कुलपति महोदय, एस्टीम जजेस, सभी अध्यापकों को मेरा सादर नमस्कार। मेरा नाम मोहिनी शर्मा है और मैं बीएलएड कोर्स के 4th वर्ष की छात्रा हूं और मैं आज इस विषय पर कि क्या भारत में महिलाओं को आरक्षण देने से क्या हम वास्तविक रूप में समानता को हासिल कर सकते हैं, इस पक्ष के मैं इस मुद्दे के मैं विरुद्ध में बोलना चाहूंगी, जो कि मुझे लगता है। मैं यहाँ पे कोई इधर उधर की बात नहीं करूंगी, मैं यहाँ सीधा बोलना चाहूंगी जो मैंने देखा है अपनी सोसाइटी में, अपने समाज में, जो मैंने देखा है और जिस जगह से मैं आती हूँ, जो मैंने देखा है मैं उसी को बोलना चाहूंगी कि महिलाओं को आरक्षण देने से मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हम उनको और ऐसा बना रहे हैं कि वो ये सोचे कि हाँ, हमें आगे बढ़ने के लिए किसी विशेष प्रावधान की जरूरत है, हाँ हम आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते। इस तरीके से हम लैंगिक रूढ़िवादिताओं को हम और बढ़ावा दे रहे हैं कि हाँ, हम पुरुषों के साथ हमें बराबरी करने से, हमें पुरुषों के साथ अगर बराबरी करनी है तो हमें आरक्षण की जरूरत है। आरक्षण भले ही महिलाओं को रिप्रेजेंटेशन देगा, उनको प्रतिनिधित्व, उनका संख्या बढ़ेगी, पर मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं हम एक योग्यता, और ऐसा हो सकता है कि अगर एक पोजीशन है, अगर उस पोजीशन के लिए एक पुरुष आया है इंटरव्यू देने और एक महिला आई है, अगर वो पुरुष उस महिला से ज्यादा काबिल है, पर अगर उसको वो चीज नहीं मिली, जस्ट बिकॉज अगर वो महिला को मिल गई वो जॉब या उस पद पे वो प्रतिष्ठित हो गई, तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कहीं ना कहीं कि महिलाओं को आरक्षण देने से हम, हमारे जो संविधान में है राइट टू इक्वेलिटी, समानता का अधिकार, हम पुरुषों का तो वो फिर उल्लंघन हुआ, जो मुझे लगता है। और मैं इस चीज को मानती हूँ। मैं मथुरा जिले के एक गांव, तहसील कह सकते हैं, गोकुल महावन से आती हूँ। वहां पे चेयरमैन की सीट आती है, महिला की सीट आई, तो वहां पे जो पोस्टर लगे वो महिला की सीट के लगने थे, वो महिला को सीट मिली, पर वहां पे उनके पति को क्यों जोड़ा गया? उनका तो फोटो मुझे कहीं नहीं दिखा, उनका तो नाम नहीं मिला। तो हम आरक्षण देने से हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि हम महिलाओं को सशक्त बना रहे हैं। आरक्षण देने से हम नहीं कह सकते ये। महिलाएं अपनी काबिलियत, अपने बलबूते पे भी बहुत ऊंचा मुकाम हासिल कर सकती हैं, बहुत ऊंचा। मैं यही बोलना चाहूंगी कि अगर हम देखते हैं आज के समाज में, जैसे लोग समझते हैं कि महिलाओं को आरक्षण देना एक बहुत अच्छा कदम है, पर मैं इस चीज के विरुद्ध हूं, क्योंकि इससे लैंगिक रूढ़िवादिताओं को बढ़ावा मिल रहा है। जो प्रतिनिधित्व है वो, उनकी काबिलियत जो है, हम उसको नकार रहे हैं। सिर्फ और सिर्फ कोटा को अगर हम प्रधानता दें तो वो गलत होगा। तीसरी चीज, हम जेंडर इक्वेलिटी जो है, जो समानता है, हम उसको नहीं ला सकते, क्योंकि जो वो हमारी पितृसत्ता है जो इतने सालों से इस समाज में चली आ रही है, हम उसको रिजर्वेशन से खत्म नहीं कर सकते। हमें बहुत व्यवस्थित सुधार लाने पड़ेंगे, तभी जाके कुछ ना कुछ संभव होगा। अगर आप स्कैंडिनेवियन कंट्रीज में देखेंगे, वहां पे रिजर्वेशन पे ही पूरा जोर नहीं दिया जाता, वहां पेड पेरेंटल लीव्स है, वहां पे मैटरनिटी लीव्स है, वहां का जो कल्चर है वहां पे वो बढ़ावा मिलता है। अगर आज तो मैं यही कंक्लूड करना चाहूंगी कि अगर आज एक महिला जो है किसी उच्च पद पे जाती है, तो वहां पे महिला को, पुरुष को जो है बेइज्जती फील होती है कि वो मुझसे ऊपर है, तो जब तक यहाँ दिमाग में बदलाव नहीं आएगा, आरक्षण कुछ भी नहीं कर पाएगा। और आरक्षण देने से आप सशक्त नहीं बना पाओगे महिलाओं को, आप पितृसत्ता को खत्म नहीं कर सकते। बस मैं यहीं अपने जो शब्द हैं उनको विराम देना चाहूंगी। धन्यवाद।
Mohini, I would like to ask one question. As you said that women empowerment bill which was introduced, it will not be the effective one. Then according to you, what effective measures we can take for the empowerment of our women?
यस सर, अगर हम चिरस्थायी यानी कि सस्टेनेबल जेंडर इक्वालिटी की बात करें तो उसको हम डेफिनेटली ऐसे इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स ला सकते हैं, ऐसी इकोनॉमिक पॉलिसी जहां पे वर्क प्लेस का कल्चर जो है, जो पहली चीज है इक्वल पे फॉर इक्वल वर्क, ऐसी चीजें ला सकते हैं जहां महिलाओं को भी उनके काम का जो एक अवार्ड कह सकते हैं, रिवॉर्ड कह सकते हैं, वो बराबरी का हिस्सा मिले। उनको भी, पुरुषों को भी ये फील ना हो कि मेरा जो राइट है, मेरा अधिकार है, उसका उल्लंघन हो रहा है। अगर वो जिस काबिल है उसको वही चीज मिले। और दूसरी चीज मैं ये कहना चाहूंगी कि जेंडर इक्वालिटी की अगर हम बात करते हैं, उसको हम जैसे रिजर्वेशन की वजह है और भी जैसी नीतियां हैं, हम उनको ला सकते हैं। ऐसा नहीं है, रिजर्वेशन जो है वो तो रिस्ट्रिक्ट करता है कि 33%।
आपने जैसे कहा कि रिजर्वेशन की जरूरत नहीं है, वो ज्यादा कुछ काम नहीं कर रहा है, लेकिन आपको ऐसा नहीं लगता कि रिजर्वेशन एक मिनिमल क्राइटेरिया को फुलफिल कर रहा है कि कम से कम 33% तो आए?
Judges, I'm
तो
sorry to.
आप सही कहते हैं कि सोच बदलनी चाहिए, वो बहुत मायने रखता है, लेकिन वो सोच बदलते तो समय लगेगा। जब आप पितृ सत्ता की बात करते हैं तो विक्टिम तो औरत भी है और आदमी भी है, दोनों हैं उसके सोच के।
यस मैम, बट इस चीज से
लेकिन आपको सच में क्या ऐसा नहीं लगता कि बिल्कुल रिजर्वेशन ना होती, जो 33% आ रही है वो भी नहीं आ पाएंगी?
मेरा मानना ये है कि जो हम जेंडर इक्वालिटी की बात कर रहे हैं, अगर हम महिलाओं के लिए आरक्षण लेके आएंगे तो ये तो फिर और जेंडर इक्वालिटी का गैप बढ़ गया ना। पुरुषों के दिमाग में तो और सुपीरियोरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स जो होते हैं, प्रभुत्वता, वो आ जाएगी। तो वो और okay.
I'm sorry to interrupt everyone and judges, but we'll have to stick with the time limit. So just please keep that in mind, everyone. Thank you so much.
Now I would like to call Prashast Chaube, who will speak against the motion. After that, Anushka Gaur, who will speak in the favor of motion.
To begin?
You should.
Namaste, I'm Prashast Chaube, and I'm going to speak against the motion. And I'm not here to budge over a political narrative, but to talk and address about the metaphysics, the philosophy, the religion, and the preconceived notions we have in our mind regarding a topic which revolves around the gender equality and reservation. To start with, I would like to quote an incident where the incumbent Honorable President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmu, in her very first speech after her election, highlighted the point of the illegitimate overpowering and overcrowding of prisons in India, which supposedly should have been a wake-up call for the executive and judiciary. But to the shock, there was no action taken, no investigations, no official report, and this exactly portrays the condition and the status of every woman in our country who is a figurehead position or who even reaches the apex, but by the medium of reservation. Prima facie, the reservation and gender equality are two distinctive topics, which goes on the same line of differentiation as per the equality at opportunity and equality at result. Equality at opportunity is something which you can sow and root by the virtue of providing equity to women at the birth rate, at schools, at colleges, at medications, and at the patriarchal homes especially. And not just a sugar-coated result to show and use that power, use at vote banks. To inculcate it requires a 4-layer method, which goes like you sow a thought and you reap an action. You sow an action and you reap a habit. You sow a habit and you reap a character. And you sow a character and you reap a destiny. And the destiny and future of the nation requires women who are the symbols of power and not the women who are the flag bearers of the loser's cry demanding reservation. To look at the prehistorical description of the topic, we should talk about the Rome, where women were not allowed to cast vote. We should talk about the Greece, where talking about women's rights were considered equivalent to distorting the sanctity of the nation. We should talk about Mesopotamia, where husbands can divorce wife at any point of time, but the wife cannot question him back or even ask for alimony. Or Egypt, where women are forced to be in a particular kind of custom and costume. Or India, where women are restricted to even enter the temples. This shows the level of destitution the women have faced in the past, which must, and now the improvement process should be a holistic one, which should include socially, customarily, and on a very remote and personal level. Another issue in the corollary is the intersectionality of the vulnerability. As we all know, the India is a homogeneous nation, and we have several sectors of vulnerability provided in our society. For example, if there's a woman who is apparently also a tribal and she's also physically impaired, then she would have the highest probability to get to the apex positions of the country. But would this really be empowerment for women? This lacks the comprehensiveness and the sustainable empowerment approach. But this won't actually provide for the upliftment of all the groups of the women. Shifting to another bipolar, the women reservation in politics. The Article 243D of our constitution gives a mandate to reserve one third of seats for women. First of all, we need to erase this notion that only a woman can understand the pain of a woman. Secondly, you may be aware about the terms like Sarpanchpati or Pradhanpati. You all should be aware because 65% of women politicians are dynastical, and one third of women politicians have their husbands as ex MLAs or MPs. The puppet play system needs to be stopped. Unfortunately, I come from a nation where 46% of local governance is in the hands of women, but there is no significant step taken for the empowerment of women. Our nation stands 121 in the rank of a Global Gender Gap Report. To the mandate of the stage, I would like to conclude by saying that by putting a chapati on the image of the flag, it doesn't really fulfill the hunger of the whole the nation. पंख चाहिए हवाओं के रुख भी जनाब, पंख चाहिए हवाओं के रुख भी जनाब, ये खंभों के सहारे उड़ाने नहीं होती. Thank you so much. Question.
Next, Anushka Gaur, who will speak in the favor of the motion.
Participants, please keep in mind that after 4 minutes, you will not be marked. So you better conclude before that. Please.
Can I start? Yeah. A very good morning, good afternoon to one and all present here. This is Anushka. After hearing all the factual information and all, I would actually like to start and I would actually like to put light upon this line said by Eleanor Roosevelt, which says that we cannot achieve equality in rights. We need to achieve equality in everyday lives. The major thing is that in our patriarchal system, every man, every woman by default had this thing in their mind that we cannot step out of house without the permission of the elderlies, of the men we got married to. So the very first thing is that these reservation, I think, gave hope. Not just hope, I would say hope is the wrong word, but it actually is something against of that fact, of that factual information that yes, women are supposed to be there in the kitchen. It gave us that opportunity to at least achieve that 33% in the society. It gave us that vision that yes, we can also go and sit on that chair and be the part of the decision making body. Then talking about the main thing is that even Michelle Obama said that to be something, you need to see something. And yeah, the main focus is not supposed to enlighten what happened in the past, but it's actually important to put light in a way that our future generations feel more empowered. That is, reservation for India has actually seen as an affirmative action, and therefore that disadvantaged group, as we have been mentioning women to be the part of, gets against of it. Now, the quota system, or let's say the leaves we require, that is actually not a very flourished and an established scene in our India. So it's basically a panacea which we add that yes, reservation play one of those roles, but it needs to be empowered by a lot of factors in a country like India. 73rd Amendment, which actually talked about like the 33% in Panchayati Raj and so forth and so on. Then the 106th Amendment, which was like this should go on for 15 years. This is just adding on to the factors. But what we actually need to look forward to is the facts and the requirement of empowerment in our case. Talking about this, how it actually benefited. First, increased representation. We were able to see women more on the desk, like speaking in front of the mic, telling people what to do. Second, improved outcomes. Definitely, a woman, as one of the speakers mentioned, that a woman can understand a woman's pain. And we actually see that, yeah, we got that opportunity that we are understood. Role models for every future generation, we need to set examples. We need to set people out there in the list, the part of the census, the part of the famous list coming out, that yes, we also can be one of them. Maybe I can become one like Michelle Obama. Maybe I can become one like Rita Ma'am, because her words have been so inspiring throughout the session. Welcome, ma'am. But yeah, it comes with various drawbacks. Tokenism, inequality within inequality is one of the major things, as I would say. And then the backlash, which it says that it's stereotypical. You're going, you're actually putting women on a stake that, oh, we're supposed to fight for it. We're supposed to, put on points. But I would actually say that you're there in the mind. You cannot do anything about the mentality. So what we need to focus is how we can empower, how we can give empowerment to such factors. Why not to continue reservations in a way that, yeah, okay, it gives hope, but along with that, it actually opens a ground that more such facilities can come up where men and women can work together. Not just that 33%, but more people can indulge in the same. Also, as Mahatma Gandhi said, that women are the equal partners of men. So, not just keeping it as a saying and actually thinking about it in a deeper level will actually support us. So, in conclusion, while reservations for women are not a panacea for gender equality, I would actually say that we should look forward to it and we should empower it as a factor that, yes, we also can stand on the equal stakes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll resume with the competition in a moment, but before that, I'd like to invite our Dean Student Welfare, Professor Dr. H.P. Singh, sir, to deliver a vote of thanks. So please.
So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. So it is my privilege to deliver a vote of thanks for this prestigious event. First and foremost, I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Bhavendra Shukla for encouraging us to organize this event. She is not here. She has to go for some urgent meeting. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I am very thankful for Professor Rita Bhaugana Joshi. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to mention here that in my childhood, I used to listen on the radio that Mr. Hemvati Nandan Bhaugana have won the election by so much votes. I was only 10 or 12 years old at that time. So he was a very great personality, and at that time he was very famous. I belongs to UP, so at that time Uttarakhand was not there. So that way we were brought up listening to that name, and after that everybody knows about the family. And now Bhaugana ji is here. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for encouraging us and to encourage our student. I would like to mention here my thank to Dr. D.S. Chauhan. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming here. And we were in constant touch with Mr. Ganesh Jadhav, who is the person who is coordinating with us, and we are organizing this event. So thank you, sir. We are having with us Mr. Aditya Gediyal. So thank you, sir. Thank you for here. Now, thank you for judges. Thank you, Dr. D.P. Singh, who is here. The dean, one of the dean is here. Nobody else is here. They are busy, and our students are here. Thank you, students. Our team, our deputy DSW, assistant DSW, director student welfare, And I would like to thank our admin team also for making this event successful. And at the end, if I have missed some name, so sorry for that. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring words.
Fine. करिएगा अच्छे से कुछ सवाल पूछे तो आप आगे तो अच्छे होशियार अच्छी कहानी लोग कर रहे हैं ना आप लोग करते हैं
Next, I would like to invite Steve Martin Anthony, who will speak in against of the motion. After him, Thirungana Sambandam M. Please be ready.
A very good afternoon to everyone, respected chief guests, judges, faculty members, participants, and the audience. My name is Steve Martin Anthony, and I will be speaking against the motion. It has been rightly pointed out that by previous participants as well as our respected guests that reservations have been a fundamental step in towards gender equality. It has also been rightly pointed out that we must look forward to what's next. Can can reservations only be used to achieve gender equality? It is a very nuanced topic, and I believe that is not the case. While reservations improve the participation of women, solely focusing on reserved seats neglects systemic issues such as gender biases in classrooms as well as at the workplace. Reservation policies can also undermine the capabilities of women, leading to a notion that the success that women might achieve is due to quotas rather than their own competence, which is obviously not true, as can be seen with examples that are with us, as well as examples that we see in our everyday life. So I believe that reservations are a part or a step towards gender equality, but more needs to be done. Our focus at the current moment should be to ensure that we are able to provide equal opportunities for both genders to succeed at the grassroots level, starting from their schools as well as their families. If we look at higher education, we see that reservations they have been helpful in increasing the number of female students that are enrolled in higher educational institutions. But what about beyond that? What about these women that are enrolled? Are they able to attend their classes or complete this higher education that they are enrolled in? We find that reservations they fail to address systemic issues such as societal norms as well as financial constraints. Studies have shown that most women, particularly those that belong to rural or underprivileged areas, they are unable to complete or even attend their higher educational classes due to economic pressures or cultural barriers. So this is something that needs to be addressed rather than placing mere reservations. Moreover, we find that in non-traditional fields such as STEM, there's a lower participation of women. It has definitely increased, but we find that even today, many women they prefer going into arts and humanities and enrolling in these fields rather than more non-traditional fields that are largely dominated by men. So I believe that we need to have educational reforms, particularly in primary education, so that girls they're encouraged to enroll in more technical fields as well. Now we find that when we look at the benefits of reservations, we find there's a disproportion. We find that upper class women or women that have more economic stability, they tend to gain greater benefits of reservations because they are aware of the benefits that they have and also the resources, which is not the case in the case of women that belong to rural or underprivileged areas. So this is also something that needs to be addressed, because in this case we have instead of intergender gender equality, we have intra-gender inequality. In conclusion, I would like to say that without broader changes in societal attitudes and institutional practices, token representation can reinforce the idea that women need special treatment to succeed, which is not we are trying to achieve. We are trying to achieve gender equality. So thank you.
Okay. Thirungana Sambandam M, who will speak in the favor of the motion. Next is Arushi Kaul, who will speak in against of the motion. Jennifer Teresa and Komal.
Honorable judges, fellow debaters, and audience, today we tackle a vital question: can reservation for women in India truly achieve gender equality? I stand firmly in support. Reservation isn't just a policy, it's a necessary tool. I mean, it's a powerful tool to dismantle centuries of systematic bias. It ensures women who have long been denied equal opportunity gain a rightful place in leadership and decision making. This isn't about a favor, it's about justice. By embracing reservation, we are taking a bold step toward real empowerment and lasting gender equality in India. Gender equality is the state of having equal access to both resources and to opportunities, regardless of your gender. It's about a fundamental human right and a key component of the United Nations value. Under the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the fifth is gender equality. I would here like to highlight three aspects: A, professional; B, political; and C, educational sector. On average, a woman in the labor market still earns 23% less than men globally, and three times as many hours she works in unpaid domestic labor. It would take 140 years for women to be represented equally in positions of power and 47 years to achieve equal representation in national parliaments. It is not said by me, it is said by the United Nations. Women coming from culturally different backgrounds and conservative backgrounds, it's already tough to come to the front line. And us, being a supportive society, we should lend them hands and not to backstab them. As a female, there are a lot of customs that they're constrained and compelled to follow. The limited education and a baggage full of responsibilities, despite which they have a fire for creating a career of their own. Do you think a man can handle both professional life and household chores hand in hand? Or as a society, do we even expect it from a man? And as a woman gracefully climbs the social ladder, we just question on her integrity, character, or modesty. What else do you expect from an insecure male chauvinist society? Post COVID, there are high dropouts in India, especially after the secondary education. It is due to cultural pressures, financial burdens, and societal expectations, and also child marriages. Safety concern. Girls are often dropping out of school because of traveling to school isn't safe. The risk of harassment, violence, and a fear that their parents can't ignore. Financial barriers in a poor household, when it comes for a chance that a son or a daughter to be educated, it's often the son usually wins. This devastating choice robs countless of young girls the chance of better lives. Society tells girls that their values lies in managing a household, not in pursuing a career. Boys are allowed to dream big. Girls are told to settle. Reservation in for women can help shatter these limits, showing young girls that their dreams are worth fighting for. The constitutional amendments aimed at reserving seats for women in parliament and legislative assemblies were proposed in 1996, 1998, 1999, and 2008. The first three bills expired in the respective Lok Sabha and it was dissolved. The 2008 bill was introduced and approved by the Rajya Sabha, but was also lapsed when the 15th Lok Sabha was dissolved. And also, the Global Gender Gap Report of 2023 ranks India at 127 of 146 countries. It is such a shame that the country which leads the human population is standing at 127 in the Global Gap Report. And also, the Constitution does not expressly permit reservation for women in public employment. On the contrary, Article 16 of Clause 12 prohibits discrimination in public employment on the ground of sex. And also, they only
provides horizontal reservation and not vertical reservation on the basis of the Supreme Court pronouncement. By concluding, I would like to just leave it with a question. Life is a marathon, and how do you expect a well-trained athlete to compete with an untrained athlete? The metaphor is a well-trained athlete is a man who's from the early age he's trained, and an untrained athlete or who's disabled is the women. You cannot expect the same result from both of them. Thank you.
Arushi Kaul, who will speak against the motion.
Women never asked for quotas or separate electorates. What we have asked for is social, economic, and political justice. We have asked for equality. I, Arushi Kaul, stand before you against the motion. Reservation for women can only be considered a stepping stone towards increased representation, but it alone cannot provide gender equality truly in India. Gender equality is deeply rooted in our social and cultural fabric. It is not an overnight process. 1996 to 2023, it took us 27 years to give 33% reservation to women in Lok Sabha and LSAs. What do you expect? Yes, there are obvious benefits of reservations. This suggests that quotas alone cannot gain gender equality completely in India. What will change is, however, addressing deeper issues, systemic issues like education, pay parity, perpetual dependence. On the flip side, men view these challenges and reforms as threats to their masculinity, to their traditional dominance. A classic example of this would be male MPs making sexist and abusive remarks in the parliament while arguing with women leaders. Athletes like Mary Kom, Mithali Raj, actresses like Priyanka Chopra, Deepika Padukone fighting for equitable pay and recognition even after their achievements. SEBI advising women mandate and sending regular notices in the realm of business. Even RJD and Samajwadi parties considering caste before gender. Is this the equality we are talking about? Where are we heading to? Is this the India that Kamla Bahuguna imagined? Unless we stop belittling women and start valuing their competence, gender equality will never be a product of mere reservation in this country. Media, be an instrument of change now. Respect our brains more than our bodies. Cover our brains and intellect more than our looks and appearances. Men, handling our mood swings or lending cute gifts in cramps won't raise questions on your manhood. Women, the onus is now on you. Train your children, train your sons, and train your brothers to treat women with dignity and respect. Respect their passions. And eliminating biases will only and only give us gender equality. Last but not the least, gender equality cannot be achieved by providing seats at the table. It can be achieved by eliminating stigmas. The woman you look at the metro and you frown upon or try to touch her body, no, that will not give us gender equality. Yes, it might help us, reservations might help us reach that first rung of the ladder, but if it is not for our due diligence and hard work, we won't ever, ever, and ever make it to the zenith. Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite Jennifer Teresa, who will speak in the favor of the motion. After her, Komal, who will speak in against of the motion. Then Satyali Singh, who will speak in the favor of the motion.
Hello. Arun Jaitley once said, and I quote, "Women empowerment and reservation are not only important for gender equality, but also for the progress of our nation. No country can ever truly develop without its women feeling empowered. Good afternoon to one and all present. My name is Jennifer Teresa Titus, and I will be speaking in favor of the motion that yes, reservation for women can help achieve truly gender equality in India. Think of the society as a garden. Some plants are in fertile soil with ample amount of sunlight and adequate water, while other plants are in rough, dry patches. The plants that are in poor conditions will never be able to thrive without the help of extra care. More sunlight, fertilizer, more water. Reservation is that extra care that gives the chance to each plant to grow and flourish no matter where they were planted. For centuries, women have been denied access to education, to leadership, and economic opportunities. Though legal reforms have come and gone, societal social injustice still persists. And this cannot be overturned in one night. That is why reservation is important. It is not a concession. It is not a luxury that has been granted to women, but rather it is an unfortunate necessity, one that seeks to turn right all the historical wrongs, that seeks to uplift half of the population that lives in a society that has been skewed against women, that has systematically denied equal footing for way too long. Let me be clear. Reservation is not about undermining someone's capability or someone's merit. It is about creating opportunity for those that have been in the behind of the race. The introduction of the 33% reservation for women was created in response to a request from the United Nations for a report asking for the status of women in India. It published a report titled Towards Equality, as per which it failed in its constitutional responsibility to ensure gender equality. After which, states came together, committees were formed that were inclusive of women leadership, of women as decision makers, and reservation was proposed. And since then, many women have been empowered to step into leadership roles and have brought about change in the society, have led change in the society, and have made decisions that have directly impacted their communities. Look at the changes these women have brought. Sushila Devi from Bihar, Rajwal Devi from Haryana, Bhakti Sharma from Madhya Pradesh are some among the many names that have been oppressed in their childhood because of their gender and have come up using reservation as an opportunity to create change in their community. For my respected debaters out there that are not in favor of the House's motion today, are we ready to go back almost 3 decades of turmoil that has brought us here in the first place? Are we ready to neglect the contributions of women leaders that helped building up our society because of reservation? Are we even understanding the amount of blood and sweat that took finally to ignite a little spark in the eyes and hearts of every young girl, telling them that their dreams matter too? And so to culminate, I would like to quote, आधी आबादी है नारी, ये है सच्चाई, फिर भी संसद में क्यों नहीं उनकी हिस्सेदारी दिखाई? आरक्षण से बदलेगी अब हर कहानी, उनकी आवाज ये चमकाएगी देश की पेशानी, सशक्त होंगी महिलाएं तो बढ़ेगा हिंदुस्तान. Thank you.
Komal, who will speak against the motion.
Good afternoon, everyone, respected judges, and my fellow debaters. I stand before you today to argue against the notion that reservation for women in India can truly achieve gender equality. While everyone is talking about reservation, are often seen as a step towards inclusivity in creating a difference, I believe that they fall short in addressing the issue of gender equality. When we talk about gender equality, what does equality means? Equality means an individual is treated same, irrespective of his gender. But when we introduce this reservation based upon gender, are we seriously talking about equality? we contradict the very principle of equality, that making gender criteria for selection. If we are saying equality is not based on the reservation, then real empowerment comes for creating environment where women and men are given equal opportunities to fight, to compete, or to succeed based on their talents and not on quotas. Firstly, I would like to talk about gender equality is not about numbers. It's about attitude, perception, and giving equal chance. We may able to give 33% of the quotas and different quotas in politics, education, and employment. But are we just only increasing the representation, or are we actually empowering the women of the society? Because quotas are also given in panchayats where the male member take the lead after the appointment of the female member. Secondly, reservation reinforce stereotype. This is my point. That the women's like Sushma Swaraj, my favorite political leader, or we talk about Falguni Nayar, they didn't get any reservation, but they still made their point out there. Thirdly, reservation does not address the root cause. Primarily, women empowerment, our social norms lack access of education and economic barriers. This will only lead in complex intersectionality of women's who are already in a good space, on a good economical background, and only those will get chances. Because in 33% quota, how many women are there who actually needs it and are getting the chances? To truly achieve gender equality in India, I believe that we must look beyond reservation, like making and policies which give both the genders equal chances, like Skill India Mission, which provides skill and give jobs to both men and women. Or we talk about Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, which is about providing loans for entrepreneurship or making their own business in just small providing better education to all. And in conclusion, while reservation for women might be a temporary increase in representation, it failed to address a deeper and more structural challenge that hold women back. Instead, relying on reservation should be the focus for on a long term and sustainable challenges that will empower women to stand shoulder to shoulder with men, and not just because we are given reserved seat, but because we earned it. Thank you.
Next, Satyali Singh, who will speak in the favor of the motion. Satyali Singh.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. My name is Satyali Singh. I'll start with it's a very simple question. Imagine you have to lift a table and it's very heavy. What would you do? You would ask for help. So it's the same thing. Reservation is not discriminating men, rather, it is a catalyst which is working so that the women who are not getting opportunities get opportunities. And in the data of 18% women who are working after marriage, I'm giving the data, whereas 90% men are working after marriage. This data comes to 50 to 50. Here is what another question I want to ask. Why do we just have to always question something which is actually uplifting the whole nation? Why do we have to question again and again that why is it necessary to have reservation? But it is something which is leading to the global scenario. It is leading to something which is in a very big picture. We know that for generations, women have been exploited, women have no right to speak, but right now we have a reservation in education. We are letting women to stand up for themselves, speak up for themselves, and know what is right for them and what is not. We know that education is power, and as it's said by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, as women achieve power, the barriers will fall. Education is the most important, powerful factor which leads women to know and learn their place in the society. We are addressing a lot of problems here. The first is if they are not educated, how would they know that what is going to happen with them and whether things which are happening with them is right or wrong? So it's not just anti-men, rather it is educating, it is letting women know what place in the society they belong to. It's about their protection, the places they have in the society, the roles they play. If talking about protection, one more topic which is left is we do not know how many women suffer while working. They are not given with menstrual leaves. Many places do not provide with pregnancy leaves. Why is it happening? Because we do not know with the problem women face. And on the higher levels in Parliament House, 33% seats are reserved for women, and around 14% women, 14% of the seats are occupied by women. I believe those 14% seats needs to get up to 33%, and women who are suffering on the lower level should know, should be given resolution to that. One more thing, we do not want to be worshipped as devis. Rather, let's just give women the equal opportunities so that whether they are walking shoulder to shoulder, it doesn't matter. What it matters is they are walking with you together, so that we do not talk about this. Can reservation for women be achieve equality in India be another topic for debate? Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite Priyan Kumar Roy, who will speak against the motion.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Trian. I am from MIT Institute of Geoinformatics and Remote Sensing. I will be speaking against the motion. I am actually not completely against the motion, but I am against the fact that true gender equality cannot be achieved unless we also achieve gender sensitization among the society. We cannot live in a society that segregates the men and the women since the age of 5 in the primary schools and expect that they will treat each other as equals. We cannot treat them as two separate races, two segregated sections of the society. We need we need to encourage them to work together, to live together, to thrive together so that they can lift each other up. There should not be the concept of a girl's girl and a boy's boy. There should be people working together, and a psychology must develop in our society that sees the other gender as human being rather than the other gender. And for this, we need to implement very strict and psychology and empirical evidence-based evidence-based training structures for teachers and students so that they are more sensitized towards each other and they treat each other as fellow human beings. And this is what I mean when I say that we will not be able to achieve true gender equality unless we achieve this. We need to treat each other as human beings and not the other sex. I would also want our government to invest in this because our mental health institutions in our country are severely underfunded, and we need those to implement these uh, gender sensitization approaches into our education policies. And I hope that when we achieve gender sensitization, we will automatically walk towards a more equal society for both the genders. Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite Shantanu Pandey, who will speak in the favor of the motion. Shantanu Pandey.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Shantanu Pandey, and I will be speaking in the favor of the motion. When I first entered this auditorium, I saw mostly women. Then our esteemed panel of judges, mostly women. Our honorable guest, a woman. When I see across the our university, I see a fair amount of women walking around, and it makes you think, clouds your judgment. Do we really need this reservation for women? But when we step outside the university gates,
our homes. I consider these spaces a safe space. Not all the universities, but esteemed universities like this, Amity University, which really cares for their children. When you step outside, you'll see the reality that women face a lot of difficulties in the current times. For first, underrepresentation in governance. Like ma'am said, and I'm a student of political science, so I used to watch the parliament, and I saw only a fraction amount of seats were filled with women. It limits their influence on policy decisions that affects their lives. And the gender pay gap. The women work just as hard as men, but they are paid very less than the men. Our country has made some significant efforts to adopt women reservations policy. In 1993, the India introduced a constitutional amendment mandating 33% reservation for women in local governance. The results were transformative. Now, let me tell you a story of Chavi Rajawat, the youngest Sarpanch at 30. Under her leadership, the village grew dramatically. They have water access, solar power, and educations. Today, over 1.4 million women serve in these government bodies. Several states like Bihar, Uttarakhand, and Andhra Pradesh have implemented 50% reservation for women, going beyond the mandate of 33% done by the central government. Reservation policies in education have also shown such positive results, like Tamil Nadu giving 30% reservation in government jobs. Participation has increased dramatically. For example, Dr. Tessie Thomas, who is also known as the Missile Woman of India, was the first scientist head missile project of India directing Agni 4 program, and other organizations like Hunger Project who gave 200,000 elected women representatives training. Then, reservation for women can be a powerful tool, provide crucial opportunities and visibility for women, but they must be implemented thoughtfully so to avoid unintended consequences. The ultimate goal should be creating a society where such measures are no longer needed, where merits and capabilities are recognized regardless of the gender. The journey towards gender equality in India will be long and complex, but I think it is a journey worth taking. Thank you.
Palak Sharma, who will speak against the motion. Palak Sharma.
Very warm good afternoon to one and all present here. Today, as we gather to debate on a topic, an issue, an ideal, and a principle, which is very and critically central to our growth and development as a country, as a society, and as a human going forward. And that issue here is, can reservation for women in India truly achieve gender equality? Yes, reservation certainly acts for the representation of women. As we can see in this very hall, a lot of women here, we are here, we are represented. But can it achieve gender equality? No. Because gender equality is not just women there, women here. It is not me saying that if a man's punch can hurt you, mine can do it 100 times better. It is me saying that, sir, if I am putting in the same amount of effort, if I'm putting in the same amount of time, if I'm putting in the same amount of hardships as you are, I also deserve equal opportunities. And I believe reservation, as chief guest also mentioned, it certainly gives you that level. It gives a young girl that hope, that achievement, that certainly one day I will be there as a member of parliament. But from there, here to there, at least 18 years, 20 years, that girl has to follow the journey. What about that? The change here, which I'm against here, is not why reservation. I'm not against reservation. I'm against why not just reservation. Reservation will act as a cornerstone, as a final destination.
What about the grassroots? Then we have to deliberate upon all those educational, cultural, economical transformations that we as a society need to bring in. There's a very famous quote, हर समस्या का समाधान करती है नारी, किसी प्रतिबद्धता से ना है वो हारी. So, all women here, all women there in our country deserve representation, and reservation will give them that. But the issues that will arise with it merit the major issue that is associated with reservation. And an example that I could take will be from this very hall. Let's suppose there's a seat reserved for me here, and it is a full hall, but I'm not able to make it. But there's someone standing outside who deserves to be on that seat. So is it right that the seat goes empty? That is something we all have to deliberate upon. Definitely, reservation is a central idea that 33% is required, but much, much more is required to achieve a complete, progressive, and particular society. So I would like to end this debate with a wonderful quote. Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. They certainly do, because their presence would make those decisions foolproof. But what they do not deserve is that women to be made an exception. Let's treat all of us equally and not introduce gender parity. Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Justice Karanjit Singh, who will speak in the favor of the motion.
थैंक यू. औरत बोझ नहीं, बोझ बनाया हमने है. सती से लेके बाल विवाह दहेज बनाया हमने है. समाज बनाया हमने है, रिवाज बनाया हमने है. इन औरतों को दबी हुई आवाज बनाया हमने है. Namaskaram to the repository of the sovereign will of the people, the democracy, the temple of democracy, the humble obeisance to the intellectual panel of the jury members, and the fanatic afternoon to the exuberant brothers and sisters of incredible India. This is just Karanjit Singh. And I have vehemently chosen this topic that yes, reservation for women in India can truly achieve gender equality. Lend me the years as India turns 78 and India has a story to tell. The countdown starts. Every second tickled with happiness, hopes and aspirations and prayers of millions. In the celebration of Chandrayaan entered, today we are one proud nation. But in the midst of all this happiness, let us not forget to picturize the current scenario as well. Today, I live in the nation, ladies and gentlemen, where a cigarette which can kill is sold openly, but when a girl has to buy the sanitary pads, she has to hide them in the black polythene. I live in the nation, ladies and gentlemen, where daughter is taught to cook before she can even dream of studying. We live in the society where we worship goddess in the temple, but deny our girls the education and freedom they deserve. Today, I stand in the nation where the boys will be boys is used to excuse their mistakes, but girl must be the girl is used to limit their potential. The story starts from the era when the dark concept of female abortion came into the existence, where parents, even today, hesitate to accept a girl child. Why? Because they see her as a burden. It's a time we face the cruel truth that many present parents in our society are committing a crime, an inhuman crime, against their own daughters before they even take their first breath. India is 78 and still the animal inside is not stopping to commit this crime. For this, ladies and gentlemen, and there was a birth for the women reservation. We need women's reservation because we need to change the narrative to prove these parents that their daughters are not weak. They are the warriors born to lead. When women keep the leadership roles, when they become ministers, CEOs, decision makers, it sends a message to every corner of this country. Reservation is not about favoring women. It's about positive discrimination. It's about correcting the imbalance that has existed too long and finally give a fair shot of success. Our constitution stands with us. Article 14, 15, 3, 16 allows the government to make special provisions for women. Why? Because our forefathers knew that justice doesn't come by waiting, it comes by acting. And today we are standing at the crossroads where we need the action. According to the Global Gender Gap Report 2023 by the World Economic Forum, India ranks 127 out of 146 countries in the gender parity, with the political empowerment gap being the largest. While women make up the 50% of the India's population, the reservation has been implemented. The 73rd and the 74th constitutional amendment in the Panchayat, where 33% of the seats are being reserved. Now, I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Picture your mother, your sister, your daughter. Picture the dreams that she had as a little girl, the dreams that may be buried under the weight of societal expectations, family obligations, or simply because the world told her she couldn't. Now, imagine the world where she is told, yes, you can. Ladies and gentlemen, there's the time to act now. Let us rise together, let us push forward, and let us make sure that when history looks back at us, it says this was the moment when India truly became equal. In the last, I would like to conclude by saying that हम ही हम हैं तो क्या हम हैं, तुम ही तुम हो क्या तुम तो क्या तुम हो. धन्यवाद. Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Parth Bharadwaj, who will speak in the against of the motion. Parth Bharadwaj.
Greetings to all the judges, our esteemed guests, and the audience present here and paying attention to me. My today's motion is, which I stand against, which is reservation for women in India really helping in achieving gender equality, which we'll be starting by. I stand against it. Until the end, we'll understand why is so and how is so and how it is not enough, how reservation is not enough to achieve gender equality in India. Okay, let me mention some facts here. 128th Amendment Bill 2023, Panchayat Raj Act 1993, Companies Act 2013, all of these acts have been passed on from years and years. And why are we still lacking behind? Why are we still in the deficit of participation of women when it comes to economic census as well as social status? According to the facts, WEF 2020, India stands off 146th by 156th position when it comes to gender parity and economic participation. IIM 2021 shows that there is an increase in numbers when it comes to participation, but when tested, it shows incompetence and insufficiency. Which brings to my first point, how reservation is not enough. The structure in itself is very unjust and arbitrary, which puts me to the point that one size fits all approach doesn't work. All women have different problem. Women from upper class, women from urban area, rural area, women from tribes, they have different issues. Reservation might be a privilege for somebody, but might be an actual opportunity or compensation for another woman. While we have on saying, I'd like to mention what about other genders? We talk about equality. Why is it about men and women? Why not about queer? Why not about bisexual? Why not about trans? Why not 128th Amendment Bill includes OBC women category? Why they do not have a sub quota for OBC women category but for SC ST? Why that exclusion or why that inclusion? The structure holds in arbitrary criteria. Another point, which would be token representation. It has been noted, for example, Suman Devi, who was the Haryana Sarpanch 2016, Rabri Devi, the wife of Lalu Prasad Yadav, who entered politics when he was held on for corruption charges. All of these women have been there enter the politics for the sake of social welfare and women rights, but on the basis of reservation, how they have been incompetent, that they have been a token sarpanch or a token authoritative personality when the power has been exercised by men. Compromise on competency is there, which leads to system ineffectiveness. It worsens the equality, it even worsens the perception, and it is counterproductive. Reinforces the discrimination, reinforces gender divide, sexism. It creates imposter syndrome among women who are competent as they doubt, am I here just for the sake of reservation, just because of reservation, not because of my competence? And after that, all these resolutions have been very temporary, doesn't resolve the root cause problems. I like to say we need sensitization programs. We need awareness. We need to include men to achieve equality. It's not enough. Why to exclude men out of this? We need to include men as well. We need to address the social norms, the normative conformity, the stereotypes, the false beliefs. We have a long way to go when it comes to a society being equal for all the genders. It's more than men and women. I'd like to say we need women as competent leaders, not placeholders. Thank you for being so patient.
Now, I would like to invite Tanishka Bagra, who will speak in the favor of the motion. Tanishka Bogra.
20 सितंबर भारत का एक ऐसा ऐतिहासिक दिन जिस दिन महिला आकर्षण को प्रोत्साहन दिया गया, जिस दिन 1/3 सीटों को महिलाओं के लिए आकर्षित किया गया। संसद में जिस दिन ये बिल पास किया गया, उस दिन 187 सांसदों ने इसके पक्ष में अपने हाथ उठाए, परंतु उनमें से एक विरोधी का ये कहना भी था कि वह इसके बिल्कुल ही पक्ष में नहीं है, क्योंकि तब से ये दिन भारत के ऐतिहासिक पन्नों में दर्ज कर लिया गया है, क्योंकि उस दिन महिलाओं को न ही केवल समान रूप से दर्जा देने की बात उठाई गई, परंतु उनको अलग अलग क्षेत्रों में आगे बढ़ावा देने का भी मौका दिया गया। आप शांत क्यों हैं? मौका दिया गया। हम ऐसे समाज में रहते हैं जहां पे पुरुषों के लिए तो जमीन आसमान एक करना भी बहुत मामूली बात है, परंतु महिलाओं के लिए अपने हक की लड़ाई लड़ना और पुरुषों से कदम मिलाकर चलना भी एक चुनौती साबित हो जाती है पुरुषों के लिए। इसलिए इस गलतफहमी को दूर करने के लिए महिला आरक्षण जरूरी है। हंसा मेहता ने एक संविधान सभा में कहा था कि हमें विशेषाधिकार नहीं चाहिए, हमें आर्थिक न्याय चाहिए, हमें सामाजिक न्याय चाहिए, हमें राजनीतिक न्याय चाहिए। परंतु मैं भी एक महिला हूं और मैं उनसे बिल्कुल सहमत हूं, परंतु हमें इस न्याय को लेने के लिए, हमें इस न्याय को पाने के लिए कहीं से तो शुरुआत करनी होगी, और वहीं पर हमें महिला आरक्षण की जरूरत है। इसी असमानता को मिटाने के लिए, महिलाओं को प्रतिनिधित्व बढ़ाने के लिए हमें महिला आरक्षण की जरूरत है। अगर अब इसे विशेषाधिकार कहा जाए तो विशेषाधिकार ही सही, परंतु इसे पाने के लिए हमें कहीं से शुरुआत करनी होगी। ये समाज महिलाओं की नहीं सुनता, परंतु हमें महिला आरक्षण ने ही हमें महिलाओं को एक गूंज दी है, उनकी आवाज को एक गूंज दी है, और जो कहने वाली एक है उसको सुनने वाले लाखों दिए हैं। अगर हमारा देश इतना ही आगे बढ़ चुका है तो क्यों महिलाओं के विचारों को प्रकट करने में इतनी पाबंदी है? जो उनका एक जन्मसिद्ध अधिकार है उनको क्यों छीन लिया जाता है? क्यों एक औरत की चीख को नीचे दबा दिया जाता है? इतने वर्ष बीत गए, महिलाओं के जितने भी कदम उठाए गए उनमें से आधे से ज्यादा नाकामयाब हो गए। क्यों? क्योंकि भारत ही नहीं, संसार के 100 से ज्यादा देशों में 100 से ज्यादा देश पुरुष प्रधान है। बहुत शिक्षा बांट ली, बहुत ज्ञान हमने साझा कर लिया, परंतु उससे कभी कोई प्रभाव नहीं पड़ा। प्रभाव पड़ा तो वुमेन आरक्षण से, महिला आरक्षण से। धन्यवाद।
Next, I would like to invite Pia Kar, who will speak in the against of the motion. Pia Kar. After her, Aditya Prasad, then Sara Pundir.
Oh, women, what a sin you have committed that you were born in India.
Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, and also bigger remarriage. But after 200 years, has the situation really changed for women? In every 16 minutes, there's a rape in India. In every 4 minutes, cruelty against women by their in laws occurs. In every 4 minutes, which is probably far less than the time we have spent here, some form or the other of crime against women is committed. So, my question to all of you here is how does reservation change this ground reality for women? And with that question, I would like to introduce myself. A very good afternoon to my esteemed judges and my fellow students. I'm Pia Kar of Amicus Institute of Education, B.Ed course. In 2023, a newly launched bill announced that 1/3 of the seats in the parliament will be reserved for women. Up till now, about 82 of the seats were occupied out of the 550 that were given, which is about 15% of the entire number. The number further dips when one moves to the upper house. Herein, the proposed bill uh, The proposed bill seeks to change this set of representation. However, herein I would like to point out that while the bill proposes that it will increase the number of women participation in the Legislative Assembly, how much of this will transpire in reality is still a looming question. I would pin here a Gen Z reality show reference. We have all seen Panchayat, I believe. So in that, the women sarpanch is given the seat. However, it is the husband who occupies the seat on her behalf. Coming back to stats, there has been a 7-fold increase in women contesting elections since 1950s. But economist Shamika Ravi points out that these women are not really winning. Why is that? This is because majority of these women are independent candidates. Majority of prominent parties do not back women, and more importantly, women do not have the kind of economical backing that is needed to contest elections. How does the reservation policy introduced change this scenario? My question is to you. Now let's take this situation further to higher education. Now let's take this argument further to the higher education. Recently, in 2023, the DUSU proposed to its vice chancellor that there should be a 50% reservation for women's seats. But if the higher education enrollment for women is only 38%, how will you even occupy these 50% of seats? More importantly, the dropout rate for women stands at 12%, which is about 11% higher than 1.6%, which is that for men. Majority of women in India drop out of colleges because of domestic workload. The literacy gap between men and women stands at 17.2%. How does reservation aims to fight this? Gender equality in India is not a question of reservation. It is a product of patriarchy. And what we are fighting for here is not gender equality, we are fighting for gender equity. I would like to conclude my argument by saying that by reinforcing something that one of my fellow participants said, that the change needs to be here rather than before in the paperwork. That's all. Thank you.
Next, I would like to invite Aditya Prasad, who will speak in the favor of the motion. And don't declare the name of the institute. And please check the time limits. You will not allowed to speak after 4 minutes now.
A very good evening to all my esteemed judges and all my fellow debaters. I am Aditya. I am a first year student of B.Ed. So, हमारा question है कि can reservation in India truly achieve gender equality? तो इस क्वेश्चन में अगर हम घुसे तो उससे पहले हमारे कल्चर क्या कहते हैं इस क्वेश्चन को डील करने के लिए. तो यहाँ पे मैं अपने भगवद गीता के श्लोक कोट करना चाहता हूँ जो चैप्टर 9 वर्स 32 को
मेंशन करता है। मम ही प्रथा विपासित्र येपि सुह पाप्य न्या स्त्रिय वैश्य तथा शूद्र तेपि यथा परम गतम। It means, O son Parth, those who take refuge in me, though they be of sinful birth, women, merchants or laborers, can attain the supreme goal. इस श्लोक से हमें क्या समझ में आता है? इस श्लोक से हमें ये समझ में आता है कि आप कोई भी जेंडर, कोई भी जाति, उसमें भी आप जन्म होते हैं आपका, फिर भी आप अपने सुप्रीम गोल को अचीवमेंट, क्या विमेन को बेसिकली रिजर्वेशन चाहिए? पहले हम उनके क्वेश्चन को डील करें। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, क्या उनके इमोशनली जाके, इनके इमोशनल लेवल पे हम देखें, क्या वो उनको रिजर्वेशन लेनी चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए? तो हम ये देख सकते हैं कि वुमेन को इमोशनली भी रिजर्वेशन चाहिए, जिससे उनको अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलती है, एक सेंस ऑफ वैलिडेशन मिलता है, कि एम्पावरमेंट मिलता है। फिजिकली भी उनको हम वो देखा जाए फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट में भी, तो उनको तब भी कहीं ना कहीं उनको रिजर्वेशन चाहिए। जैसे कि हम देखते हैं कि मोस्टली जो हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज है वो मेनली मेल डोमिनेटेड है, और वहां पे बिल्कुल भी एडिक्वेट फैसिलिटीज हम वुमेन के लिए हमें नहीं देखने को मिलती। अगर रिजर्वेशन आता है तो इससे कहीं ना कहीं फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट में वुमेन को बेटर कंडीशन, सपोर्ट सिस्टम और कहीं ना कहीं अकोमोडेशन देखने को मिल सकता है। उनकी अगर मेंटल की बात करें कि क्या वुमेन को मेंटली कहीं ना कहीं रिजर्वेशन चाहिए कि नहीं चाहिए, तो हाँ, हम ये देख सकते हैं कि सोसाइटी में एक काइंड ऑफ पैट्रियार्कल थिंकिंग अभी भी कहीं ना कहीं सोसाइटी में अप्रूट है। तो हाँ, हमें रिजर्वेशन से मेंटली ब्रेकडाउन, मेंटली इस चीज को भी हम ब्रेक कर सकते हैं। तो बेसिकली अगर हम बात करें कि अगर जब हम रिजर्वेशन की बात करते हैं तो गवर्नमेंट की क्या इंटेंशन रहती है रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसीज को लाने में। तो जैसे कि हम देखें, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल गवर्नमेंट हमेशा से सोचती है कि जितने भी हिस्टोरिकल डिस्क्रिमिनेशंस रहे हैं, हिस्टोरिकल इनक्वालिटीज रहे हैं, उसको हम ब्रेक कर सके। मेनली उनका मेन फोकस क्या होता है गवर्नमेंट का, कि ताकि वो जेंडर इक्वालिटी को प्रमोट कर सके। थर्ड, ताकि विमेन मोर ज्यादा से ज्यादा एम्पावरमेंट और लीडरशिप में आ सके। जैसे कि हम अपनी हर जगह देखते हैं आजकल की विमेन आजकल हर एक स्पेयर में मेन की इक्वल ही या मेन से काफी अच्छा आगे परफॉर्म कर रही है। आगे बात करें हम, इससे एक बैलेंस रिप्रेजेंटेशन आएगा सोसाइटी में। विमेन काफी हद तक पार्लियामेंट में देखे हम, और सोसाइटीज में देखे, लोकल गवर्नमेंट से लेके आप कहीं पे भी देखो, तो विमेन काफी हद तक अब रिप्रेजेंटेशन को बैलेंस कर रही है। नेक्स्ट की बात करें कि अगर हम कि क्या अभी तक हमने इतनी गुड़ी गुड़ी बातें करी कि ठीक है ये पॉलिसीज आई, ये पॉलिसीज आई, तो क्या इससे कुछ एक्चुअली कुछ रिजल्ट हमें देखने को मिला कि नहीं मिला? तो मैं यहाँ पे कुछ डेटा कोट करना चाहता हूँ। जैसे कि पहले विमेन की जो लोकल गवर्नमेंट में, लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट में विमेन की जो रिप्रेजेंटेशन था काफी कम था, 15% के आसपास था। 1993 के बाद जब इसको मैंडेटरी करा गया, तो आज हम देखते हैं कि विमेन की जो लोकल गवर्नेंस में 46% रिप्रेजेंटेशन है। सिर्फ इंडिया नहीं, आप रवाडा जाओ, अर्जेंटीना जाओ, आप कहीं भी देखो, रिजर्वेशन से सिर्फ कहीं ना कहीं उनका मतलब रिजर्वेशन से उनको कहीं ना कहीं बहुत ऐसे बेनिफिट देखने को मिला गया है। रवाडा में 61% और अर्जेंटीना में 40%। तो यहाँ पे मैं अपने क्वेश्चन को कंक्लूड करना चाहूंगा कि क्या कैन रिजर्वेशन फॉर वुमेन ट्रूली अचीव gender equality in India? So yes, I truly believe in that, because reservation can address historical disadvantages, enhance political participation, कहीं ना कहीं जेंडर डाइवर्सिटी को लेके आएगा और पेट्रियार्कल बैरियर्स को भी ब्रेक करेगा। थैंक यू।
Participants, due to time constraint, you will not be allowed to speak after 4 minutes. Sara Pundi, who will speak against the motion.
Nelson Mandela said, and I quote, that full freedom cannot be achieved until women are emancipated of all the oppressions. Greetings of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I, Sara Singh Pundir, would like to speak against the topic, that is, can reservation for women in India truly achieve gender equality? So, first of all, before we dive into the topic, I would like to create a distinction between what exactly do we mean by these terms. So, as I was listening to the speech of my fellow speakers, I realized that certain terms have been interchangeably used, which have corrupted the whole meaning of the sentences and the things that we're talking about today. For example, women empowerment and gender equality. I believe that both of these topics are really different. Not completely opposite or irrelevant of each other, but definitely different from each other. And when we talk of reservation for that matter, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the goal of a reservation is basically women empowerment and not gender equality. Now you must be wondering, Sarah, how do you differentiate between these two? Okay, so I believe that women empowerment is basically the financial and stability and the social acceptance that we are talking about, but rather gender equality, I believe, is a concept much wider than that. How so? So I believe that representation will not have the, I think all women in India, in a country like India, what do we crave for the most? We can put anything on the stake, but what should not be on stake is the izzat, right? Is the respect, is the izzat. And even with the amount of representation, with the increased amount of representation, do we think that that respect can be earned? The other day, I was traveling in a metro with a guy friend of mine, and there was this person sitting in front of me who had to get up to give me the seat, and he made a very frown face, like, "Okay, fine, I'm giving you the seat," with that expression. So I wondered that was he chivalrous to give me the seat, or was it his social obligation to give me the seat? Because of women empowerment or the talks of feminism, the talks of pseudo feminism, he gave me the seat. But could he truly respect me? So I think this distinction had to be made very clear before I started any of those arguments. And I think people here have talked about very surface level things about when we talk about reservation or representation, why we talk here reservation zaruri hai nahi hai, everything is very subjective. When we talk of reservation, it is very surface, it is not based on the surface level things because it ignores sectionality, because we see that the people coming from very privileged backgrounds do not or are able to take the actual advantage of the reservation. So I am very much against the notion that let alone reservation can help the women achieve gender equality. And I do not, why I say I will not be diplomatic enough to say that no, some kind of reservation can help. I think we should be here very much clear about the fact that let alone reservation will not be able to change the mindsets. And I think gender equality is just like caste and caste based discrimination and everything. It is very it is a social construct and is a mental concept that needs to be changed with the sculpting and with more mental and with more emotional approaches, because 10 years down the line, I do not want to be telling my son and my daughter the diary of being a woman, the boundaries of being a woman. I do not want to tell my son that. So with this, I would like to bring my conclusion, my argument to an end.
Time
Thank
over.
you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for this.
Priyanshu Joshi, who will speak in the favor of the motion.
Ma'am, actually, I was very much okay. Very beautiful question. I was very much okay standing, and I did not take the seat, yes, because my station was just 2 stations away. Thank you.
So, good morning, everyone. The chief guests, the judges, the faculty, the participants, and the audience. I am Priyanshu Joshi, and today I am going to be speaking in favor of the argument that reservation for women can truly can truly help us achieve gender equality in India. So, first of all, I'd like to say that reservations give the women visibility, and in my opinion, visibility is the first steps towards countering and fighting social prejudices. And on top of that, I feel that putting women in powerful positions where they can make decisions for themselves, uh, make sure that we can hear their voices, the voices that have been suppressed by the system for several years. Now, a major argument that I hear from the other side today, the most prominent of those arguments has been that reservations can only put women in powerful seats, but it will not be able to change the mindset of the people. The main problem is the social bias that has been infesting our minds, traditional minds, for years. But I'd like to disagree. Uh, To support my statement, there has also been a report by Harvard. It was published in 2012, but I'd like to use it as an example today. It is titled that Female Leadership Raises Aspirations and Educational Attainment for Girls, a policy experiment in India. It stated that apart from the obvious goal of increasing participation of women, it also achieves reservation also achieves another goal, which is that the first women who take those roles also serve as a role model for other women, as well as they also lower gender barriers. There are some statistics to support this statement as well in the report. The report was conducted in West Bengal, where they started adopting the quota system in 1998. So 1/3 of the village councils were randomly selected to conduct this research, and there it was found that in the villages where the pradhans were females for at least 2 election cycles, the gender gap in parents' aspirations from the children were down by 0.14. The gender gap was severely reduced. The belief that the in-laws will decide the daughter's occupation decreased from 76% to 65%. And also self-aspirations in adolescents themselves was 51% in girl children's in villages where the pradhans were women for at least 2 election cycles. It shows that this research shows that how impactful reservations can be in order to bring a change in the mindset of the people. It is not just putting women in seats, it's changing the mindsets, it's becoming a role model for other women and the upcoming generation. Now, we all know that the obstacles in our path to gender equality are deeply rooted in our society and their way of thinking, but that is something that has to change. And it won't just change if we just stand here doing nothing. Steps have to be taken and decisions have to be made. And I feel like reservation is a major step, a major objective that has to be fulfilled in our large goal of attaining true gender equality. Thank you very much.
Next, I would like to invite Shalu Rathore. Shalu Rathore. Shalu Rathore, who will speak in against the motion.
नमस्कार सभी को। मैं इस मुद्दे पे कि कैन रिजर्वेशन फॉर वुमेन इन इंडिया ट्रूली अचीव जेंडर इक्वालिटी, इसके अगेंस्ट में बात करूंगी। तो मैं शुरू करती हूँ कि अगर रिजर्वेशन जेंडर इक्वालिटी लेकर आ रहा होता तो अभी भी हमारे मन में ये क्वेश्चन क्यों है कि जेंडर इक्वालिटी, रिजर्वेशन जेंडर इक्वालिटी को अचीव कर सकता है कि नहीं। मैं अपनी बात कुछ पॉइंट्स में रखना चाहती हूँ। वो ये है कि क्या सिर्फ नंबर इनफ है कि पार्लियामेंट में आप महिलाओं को बिठा दो, महिलाएं सशक्त बन गई हैं। तो इवन वुमेन्स जो हैं उन्होंने सीट पे वो रिजर्व्ड हैं, लेकिन स्टिल ऐसी बहुत सारी जगहें हैं सिर्फ जहां पर नाम के लिए महिलाएं हैं, बाकी सारा डिसीजन मेकिंग सब कुछ पीठ पीछे मेल ही कर रहे होते हैं। तो सिर्फ सीट देने से मेल डोमिनेंस ब्रेक नहीं होगा। दूसरा पॉइंट मेरा ये है कि अगर हमें वुमेन्स को एम्पावरमेंट देनी होगी तो सिर्फ रिजर्वेशन ही काम नहीं आएगा, हमें उन्हें इकोनॉमिकली भी स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाना होगा। जैसे कि नेशनल फैमिली हेल्थ सर्वे ये बताता है कि सिर्फ 18% वुमेन्स के पास ही प्रॉपर्टी है। एंड इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स हमें पॉलिटिकल रिजर्वेशन के साथ साथ हमें इकोनॉमिक रिफॉर्म्स भी लाने होंगे, जैसे कि माइक्रो लोन्स, वुमेन स्पेसिफिक एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप प्रोग्राम्स, फाइनेंस लिटरेसी ट्रेनिंग, क्योंकि सिर्फ पॉलिटिकल सीट देने से आप महिलाओं को पॉवर्टी से बाहर नहीं निकाल सकते। रिजर्वेशन है, बट अनइक्वल रीच है उसका। हो सकता है कि जो अर्बन एरियाज में, जो शहरी एरियाज में वुमेन्स जो है उनको रिजर्वेशन है, उन्हें नॉलेज है हर चीज की, वो पॉलिटिक्स में भी पार्ट ले रही हैं, बट व्हाट अबाउट दी रूरल एरियाज की जो महिलाएं हैं उन्हें तो इवन पता भी नहीं है कि बहुत सारी चीजों के बारे में वो अवेयर ही नहीं है। जैसे कि यूनेस्को एजुकेशन रिपोर्ट हाईलाइट्स ओवर 53% ऑफ रूरल वुमेन इन इंडिया नेवर रिसीव्ड फॉर्मल स्कूलिंग। तब जब उन्हें फॉर्मल स्कूलिंग के बारे में ही नहीं पता, अगर वो नॉर्मल इनके पास एजुकेशन ही नहीं है, तो हाउ कैन यू एक्सपेक्ट कि वो पॉलिटिक्स में आगे पार्ट ले सकती हैं। थर्ड पॉइंट है ट्रू जेंडर इक्वालिटी। जेंडर इक्वालिटी अगर हमें लानी है तो हमें सिर्फ रिजर्वेशन से कुछ नहीं होगा। जेंडर इनइक्वालिटी जो है वो एक सोसाइटी का टर्म है, यानी कि वो हमें इनइक्वालिटी जो है वो रिजर्वेशन से चेंज नहीं, अब सोसाइटल चेंज की उसमें जरूरत है। जैसे कि आर्टिकल 14 ये कहता है कि ऑल सॉरी Okay. In Madhya Pradesh, 33% reservation panchayat study by PRI organization found that over 55% of women leader reported feeling excluded from the key decision making. आपने सबसे आगे वुमेन्स को कर तो दिया है, बट वो अभी भी डिसीजन नहीं ले पा रही हैं। थैंक यू।
Now I would like to call Pratyatapa Sahu, who will speak in favor of the motion. यहाँ पे उपस्थित सभी को मेरा प्रणाम। आदरणीय शिक्षकगण, अतिथिगण एवं मेरे साथियों, तो आज यहाँ का विषय है, क्या भारत में महिलाओं को आरक्षण देने से वास्तविक समानता हासिल की जा सकती है? तो सबका अपना अपना पक्ष है और इस प्रश्न का उत्तर मेरे तरफ से एक स्पष्ट और भारी पूर्वक हाँ है। शायद ही आप मेरा पक्ष सुनने के बाद तय करें। तो जैसे कि जवाहरलाल नेहरू जी ने कहा है कि एक देश कहाँ पे खड़ा होता है उसका अनुमान हम महिलाओं का स्थिति देख के लगा सकते हैं। तो अगर हम भारत का स्थिति देखें तो महिलाओं का स्थिति उतना कुछ अच्छा नहीं है। आज भी वो बहुत से कठिनाइयों एवं परेशानियों का सामना करती है, चाहे वो उनका पढ़ाई से रिलेटेड हो या फिर उनके राजनीति में इन्वॉल्वमेंट का या फिर बहुत सी अलग चीजें। तो जैसे कि एक उदाहरण हम ले सकते हैं कि लोकसभा में महिलाओं का संख्या बहुत ही कम है। महिलाओं को लोकसभा में केवल 14% सीटें दी गई हैं, जबकि पुरुषों के लिए 86% सीटें हैं। तो इस चीज को ध्यान में रखते हुए हम ये कह सकते हैं कि हाँ, आरक्षण की आवश्यकता तो है। जैसे कि हम और एक उदाहरण ले सकते हैं जिसमें कहा जाता है कि अगर भारत में महिलाओं एवं पुरुषों को समान अधिकार दिया जाए तो भारत का जो जीडीपी है वो 27% और ज्यादा बढ़ सकता है, जिससे भारत भी उन्नति में आगे बढ़ेगा। तो जब महिला आगे बढ़ती है तो वो केवल अकेले आगे नहीं बढ़ती, बल्कि अपने पूरे परिवार एवं पूरे देश को आगे बढ़ाती है। तो इसीलिए हम कह सकते हैं कि आरक्षण की बहुत ही ज्यादा आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि संविधान ने तो हमें बहुत से अधिकार दिए हुए हैं, लेकिन उन अधिकारों का एहसास कराने के लिए जो पहला कदम हम ले सकते हैं वो है आरक्षण। तो सोचिए, ये कहना हमें कितना अच्छा लगेगा कि हमारे घर की माएं, बेटियां, बहनें, उनका अपने अनुभव से वो सबको कैसे आगे बढ़ाने के लिए मार्गदर्शन कर रही है। तो आरक्षण इस चीज में बहुत ही बड़ा कदम साबित करेगा आगे बढ़ाने के लिए। तो एक उदाहरण मैं और देना चाहूंगी कि जब पंचायत में महिलाओं को आरक्षण दिया गया तो 50% ज्यादा संख्या में महिलाओं ने अपना वहां पे योगदान दिया। तो इससे उन्होंने अपना आवाज कितना ऊंचा उठाया है और लोगों को बताया है कि देखिए, हम ये चीजें कर सकते हैं और ये करके आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। तो आरक्षण की आवश्यकता तो है। महात्मा गांधी ने भी कहा है कि
भारत की धरोहर उनकी महिलाएं हैं। तो इससे हमें पता चलता है कि महिलाओं की कैपेबिलिटी कितनी है, कि अगर हम उनको एक अपॉर्चुनिटी दे तो वो कितना आगे बढ़ सकती है। तो मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि आरक्षण हमेशा के लिए दीजिए, लेकिन तब तक दीजिए जब तक महिला एवं पुरुष एक समान जगह पे ना आ जाए। तो मैं इस चीज का अंत ये कह के करना चाहूंगी कि आरक्षण देने से पुरुष जो है उनके लिए कोई अन्याय नहीं हो रहा है, क्योंकि आरक्षण केवल असमानता को हटाने के लिए दिया जा रहा है। और समानता का अर्थ ये नहीं है कि सबको समान चीजें मिले, लेकिन सबको समान अवसर मिले। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. Now I would like to call Faiza Akhtar, who will speak against the motion.
सच्ची समानता तब मिलती है जब किसी समूह को विशेष अधिकार नहीं दिए जाते, बल्कि ऐसा समाज बनाया जाता है जहां हर किसी को अपनी योग्यता के हिसाब से आगे बढ़ने के अवसर मिलते हैं। इसका मतलब ये है कि असली समानता आरक्षण में नहीं, बल्कि बराबरी के मौके देने से मिलती है। आप सबको मेरा नमस्कार। मेरा नाम फायजा अख्तर है और आज की मेरी इस बात से आप समझ गए होंगे कि आज मैं जिस विषय पर बात करने वाली हूं मैं उसके विरुद्ध हूं। तो सबसे पहले मैं ये पूछना चाहती हूं कि क्यों चाहिए आपको आरक्षण? क्यों आपको निर्भर रहना है उन्हीं 33% सीटों पर? क्या आप खुद से कुछ नहीं कर सकती, या आप इतने योग्य नहीं है, या आप इतनी काबिल नहीं है? क्या करता है आरक्षण? आरक्षण महिलाओं को निर्भर बनाता है। वो ये दिखाता है कि आज भी महिलाएं निर्भर हैं और वो किसी की मदद के अलावा आगे नहीं बढ़ सकती। अगर मैं बात करूं, जैसा कि हमारी राजनीतिक नेत्री श्री सुषमा स्वराज जी ने कहा है, महिलाओं को आरक्षण की आवश्यकता नहीं, उन्हें बस समान अवसर चाहिए ताकि वे अपनी काबिलियत से अपने सपनों को साकार कर सकें। आज मैं आपसे अगर ये पूछूं कि आज के समाज में बेटियों को क्या सिखाया जाता है, आपके घर में आपको क्या सिखाया जाता है? कि खुद इतनी काबिल बनो, आगे बढ़ सको, अपने पैरों पर खड़ी हो। वहीं हम बात कर देते हैं आरक्षण की, जो क्या दिखाता है कि आज आप अभी भी निर्भर हैं। तो अगर मैं यहाँ पे लैंगिक समानता की बात करूं तो यहाँ लैंगिक समानता कहाँ पर है? लैंगिक समानता वहां आएगी जहां दोनों पक्षों को 100% सीटें मिलेंगी और वो उस पे अपनी योग्यता के हिसाब से बैठेंगे। हम उनको 100% सीटें देंगे और जो जितना काबिल होगा उसको वो सीट मिलेगी। यहाँ पर आएगी लैंगिक समानता। अगर मैं बात करूं आरक्षण बिल की, जो कि हाल ही में पास हुआ, तो मैं पूछना चाहूंगी कि वो 27 साल में जो बिल पास हुआ, क्या उन 27 सालों में किसी महिला ने काबिलियत हासिल नहीं करी, या उन 27 साल पहले कोई भी महिला काबिल नहीं बन सकी? तो आज के विषय पे मैं बस इतना कहना चाहूंगी कि अगर हम बात करेंगे लैंगिक समानता की, तो लैंगिक समानता तभी आएगी जब दोनों पक्षों को 100% सीटें दी जाएंगी और वो उस पर बैठेंगे अपनी काबिलियत से। धन्यवाद।
Now I would like to call Jyoti Joseph, who will speak in favor of the motion.
Honorable judges, faculty members, and my fellow debaters, good evening to each one of you present over here. So, as we all know that we have gathered here to discuss a topic that sits at the heart of uh, India's democracy, India's journey towards true democracy, that is whether reservation for women can achieve gender equality. And I, Jyoti Rachel Joseph, from AIGR's department, stand in favor of the motion. Gender equality isn't merely a utopian world, but it is a reality where men and women have equal opportunity for raising their voice and representation in all aspects, be it political, economic, or social. So, why do women need reservation? Firstly, reservation opens doors to opportunity that previously didn't exist. History has demonstrated itself whether it be minority or women, that
these people cannot have reservation without deliberate interventions. So, like our honorable chief guest had mentioned earlier, that around 33% quota is reserved for the female candidates for the Panchayati Raj, and it has actually elevated the position to leadership uh, leadership scales. Secondly, it creates role models and challenges stereotype. The belief that women's place is inside the homes is still deep rooted in many parts of the Indian society, and it needs to be changed. So, when women are given opportunities that hold leadership roles, these disturbing stereotypes can be damaged, and it can become a tangible example for young girls to aim higher. And finally, reservation tackles structural obstacles. Women, as we all know, often face challenges such as limited access to education, financial dependency, and social expectations of caregiving roles. So, because of all these, there is no level field for women to compete like men. So, having reservation specifically for women provide a playing field which is leveled and equal. So, with all these points, I would like to conclude by saying women's representation is a key step towards bringing real gender equality in our country. And also, I would like to add that gender equality isn't just something that India would aim for because it's fair, but because it's crucial for building a vibrant and a balanced society for everyone to strive forward. Thank you so much.
Now, I would like to call Surya Pratap Singh, who will speak against the motion.
Check. Okay. ताली कभी एक हाथ से नहीं बजती. For example, if we want to have sustainable development, we have to go hand in hand. Suppose that the left hand of my hand here, it's the female section of society. The right hand shows the male section of the society. So if you want to go hand in hand, we must ensure that both the male and the female section of society are going together. Respected dignitaries and my dear friends, today I totally stand against the motion saying that can reservation help in achieving gender equality? Now let us imagine we have two different or many different types of situations. Women in India face many problems. Is reservation actually able to solve those problems? For example, let's take the example of education. Is reservation helping women to go and have the quality education? According to a report published, it shows that 1 out of 100 women only achieve the higher education, which shows that what is the condition of women in today's time. On top of that, that is not only problem, but the schools and all the colleges available, they're very far from the places. And that is also a reason why many of the women, they drop out from the schools. Is reservation able to give quality education? Is reservation actually able to provide that schools and that colleges near those places? No. The next problem that lies in our society is child marriages, domestic violence. For example, if you take a report, it shows that in every 4 minutes, there is a rape against women. In every 16 minutes, women are subjected to criminal violence. Are they even being reported? The answer is no. Is reservation providing us the solution that women will not be subject to these kind of problems in the future? No, but rather we have to focus on ground reality, ground solutions, which nobody is addressing. Reservation is just like having a seat and you are not able to say anything. It is almost like you are sitting on the table but not being able to speak anything, not being able to express anything and your opinions. The next problem is lies that you have dowry. Many of the women who live in the rural areas, they don't have the proper access to anything. They do not have the proper sanitation. On top of that, 50% or above 50% women, they get married below the age of 18, which shows that majority of the women, they don't even know that how many seats are there for them in the Lok Sabha. What are the solutions if not reservation? Many of you might argue that if not reservation, then what do we need? We require ground solutions.
We require the proper implementation of the schemes. We require problem to be acknowledged, problem to be addressed in terms and also to all the people sitting over here. We all know what the problems are, but nobody knows what the solutions are and how they need to be implemented. For example, we have many schemes launched by the government. The recent scheme launched which says that if there are women, there are in the industries, there should be hostels. At last, I would like to say that we have to make changes. For that, problems need to be acknowledged, addressed, and the solution needs to be implemented at the very root level. If that is not done, then reservation would not be able to bring gender equality in the future also. Thank you.
Now, I would like to call Pankaj in favor of the motion.
Good evening, respected judges. Good evening, respected judges, esteemed faculty members, my fellow participants. It is an honor to stand before you today to present my views on the reservation for women in India truly achieve gender equality. Yes, to support my statement, first I would like to tell you some historical facts. During the historical times, as we all know, women were allowed to take part in Sabha and Samiti during the Vedic era. In the medieval times, women were barred to take part in such samitis, and I want to say why we need reservation so that we can establish gender equity, not just equality. Because as we know, India has been a patriarchal society since the medieval times, and women have been subjected to oppressed by like in patriarchal society, parents take the decision about the women's wedding, their education, and so on. So. Over the global level, if we talk about India's gender equality, first I would like to tell you India's gender inequality rank in the is 129 out of 146 countries as per the 2024. And if you look at the other countries like Iceland, Finland, Sweden, Norway, they are the top 10 countries. Like one goes for Iceland, and three rank goes for Norway, and fifth goes for Sweden, because they have mandated 40% women quota in the job sector actually. And this is the actually reason they have been able to achieve this type of gender equality. In India, we have 30%, 33% of reservation for women in the parliament, but the total representation is 14% only. The reason is we have more than 50% women in India. If you look at the sex ratio and the as per like above now 900 out of 1000 on an average, women are like above 900. And as per the uh, total population, like women goes for about 50%. Okay, but 50% of women out of 140 crore people, but the women lack in everywhere, in political sector, social sector, in the job sector as well. If you look at the economic sector, women are just 50% of the total workforce. We have McKinsey Global Institute, which estimated that India could add $800 billion to its GDP by the end of 2025 by advancing gender equality. So we need reservation, yes, to to make the women realize that they are not inferior to men. It does reservation does not discriminate with men, that that men are being discriminated. No, just to make them realize that they are as equal as men in terms of consciousness. Okay, so if like someone was saying, women are if we look into history, like women were subjected to rapes and other types of oppressions. To deal with such subjects, we have domestic violence act, but in other spheres, if we want to make women rise, we need a reservation so that they can go at par with the men as well. In conclusion, I would like to say reservation will help dismantle the structural inequalities that have been historically marginalized. It will increase the participation of women in decision making processes at political level so that they can promote the women and child welfare. Uh, and global success like Rwanda and the European countries, the top 10 countries in inequality index, validate that gender quotas lead to more equitable and progressive societies. Thank you.
Now I would like to call Nidhi Pandey, who will speak against the motion.
Good evening to my esteemed judges and respected speakers. I am Nidhi Pandey, and today I will be speaking against the motion on the topic: Can reservation for women in India truly achieve gender equality? To support my statement, I will not be stating theories, but rather I'd state facts. While the idea of reserving seats or positions for women seem like a step toward gender equality, it falls short of addressing the root cause of inequality in India. Patriarchy is deeply rooted in Indian society, shaping everything from family dynamics to societal expectations. Gender inequality is largely a mindset problem rather than a problem of representation. Changing these deeply ingrained attitudes and social norms take more than superficial fixes like reserving seats or giving quotas to women. India ranks 127th on the Gender Equality Index and 115th in the Gender Gap Report, highlighting the urgent need for a broader solution. Even if women are offered seats in educational institutions and political organizations, high dropout rates due to societal pressure severely hinder their participation. For instance, 17.4% of girls drop out because their parents are not interested in their studies, and 31.3% simply lack interest in education. Additionally, 6.7% drop out to attend to domestic duties. This indicates that social expectation prioritize male education and empowerment more than female progress, and reservations alone cannot address these problems. Impact of child marriage. In many areas of India, child marriages are still prevalent. 22% of females are married off even before they turn the age of 18. If girls are married off before they have a chance to access reserved opportunities, the whole concept of reservation loses its impacts. Female feticide. Female feticide is another evil reality with estimated 500,000 girls lost to this practice every year. Gender based discrimination starts even before birth. What's the point of saving seed for someone who's not even going to show up? Exhaustion from unpaid labor. The burden of unpaid labor, such as domestic work and caregiving, falls disproportionately on women. They are expected to do these tasks. And according to a survey, if we capitalize the unpaid labor that women usually do, it will generate a revenue of $0.35 billion. This exhaustion compounds the barrier they face in fully participating in society. And even after we give them reservations, there is a survey that was done by Martha Foundation and and they have found the cases of sexual harassment are almost 400 each year. In conclusion, while reservations aim to uplift women, they do not address the systematic issue that hinders the gender equality. To create lasting change, we must focus on changing social attitudes. Thank you.
Now I would like to invite Falguni, who will speak in the favor of the event.
Good evening, everyone present here. So, from 1930s, Begum Shah Nawaz and Sarojini Naidu raised the political participation of women by representing three women organization act wrote to British Prime Minister during that time, and from that to 2023 introduction of Women Reservation Act has been introduced in 19 September 2023 and passed by both the upper and lower houses in 20 September 2023 to 21 September 2023. So the crucial part of this act should be or is
role models which inspire the present and future generation regardless of any gap, gender gap, also challenging patriarchal norms, and it will be a legal and constitutional support global best practices according to United Nations, the Nordic countries like Sweden, Finland, and Sweden. Such countries has 40% seats reserved for women reservation, and Japan and South Korea has 50% seat reserved for women's in their parliament. So it it also increased the representation of women more in political position and a diverse representation in democracy. It promotes political will, culture attitudes, and avoid tokenism. Also, it can include the capacity building by establishing institutions, program, training that can promote the knowledge and the experience of leading the nation in in holding such positions. Also, public support to the policy should be there, and the awareness so that the actual thing could be uh, emphasized or can be introduced. At last, I will say that empowerment is not a trend, it's a lifestyle we chase. Thank you.
Now, I would like to call Atharv Gupta, who will speak against the motion.
A very good evening to all the judges. Behind every successful man is the hand of a woman. Now, this is a statement we've been hearing from ancient times, since times immemorial. It seems a very simple statement, but it is actually a reflection of much more. It is the reflection of the problem we've gathered here to discuss today, the problem of gender inequality and anti feminine bias. In ancient times, our society used to be balanced, to say the very least. Now, the Hindu mythology is a reflection of this very fact. In the Hindu mythology, the concept of power, Shakti, was derived from goddesses and not from male gods. It was so prevalent that even the male counterparts, the male deities, they were dependent to some extent on the opinions of their better halves for taking decisions about the universe. So then the question arises, what happened? Our society was subjugated by foreign powers since the past few centuries. The Mughals, the Aryans, the British, their societies at that point in time were predominantly patriarchal. And under their influence was born the Indian version of patriarchal society. This society was characterized by double standards. In this society, women were not seen as equals, they were seen as secondary characters. They were seen as objects who were not equal to men, but rather just there to follow the whims and fancies of men. This was so prevalent that a good woman in today's society, not the modern, but the orthodox society, was one who would follow her father's and her husband's instructions, who would stay home, look after the children, not go to a job. And now, this is a problem which is associated with mindset. This is not something a mere reservation can fix. Now, the question arises that what can be done to fix the mindset? In actuality, women are multitaskers. They're far more capable of handling a plethora of tasks at once than an average male is. They're far more powerful than men are when it comes to critical thinking and decision making. So now, I would like to conclude this with a request to everyone. A request to all parents and future parents present here. A request to teach your children. Teach them that it is okay for women to go to jobs. That in the very infancy, A child must learn how to treat all women with respect and understand that women are equal to men. They are not objects, and we should not tell them how to live their lives. That it is okay for their sisters and mothers to go and work in corporates. That they are not just there to cook food and wash clothes. This, in the longer run, will actually help us achieve the vision of society we've been striving for. Thank you.
Now, I would like to invite Reena, who will speak in favor of the motion.
A very good afternoon, everyone. I am Reena, and today I am going to speak in favor for the motion. Reservation for women in India is an important step towards true gender equality. Women have been held back for a long time by stereotypical thinking and unequal treatment in areas like politics, education, and the workplace. By giving women reserved seats, we make sure they have an equal chance to grow and to succeed. Women make up nearly half of the India's population, but they are often missing from important places like government, businesses, and leadership roles. When we reserve seats for women, we give them a fair chance to participate in these spaces. It's not about giving them special favor. It's about balancing the scales that and also for making up the inequality that women have faced for many years. Women leaders often focuses on issues that are important for society, such as healthcare, education, and children welfare. By ensuring women are part of these discussions, we can create more balanced and effective policies that also can help. We also know that women are more empathetic than male. So we can say that if women are involved in these discussions, we can make more effective policies. As Mary Kom, the Indian boxing champion, said, that don't say you are weak just because you are a woman. This quote emphasizes that women have the strength and ability to achieve great things when given the opportunity. Reservation is about creating that opportunity so women can showcase their potential and contribute to the society. When women are encouraged and participate fully, they inspire others to do the same. As women became role model for other women and girls also by showing them that they can also dream too high and they can also achieve their dreams. In conclusion, reservation for women in India is not just about giving the opportunities. It's about creating a society where everyone, regardless of gender, has the chance to lead, to contribute, to succeed, and to make a difference. It's necessary step to correct historical injustices and ensure that women voices are heard and valued also. Thank you.
Now, I would like to call Tanisha Bhatt, who will speak in against of the motion.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, and my worthy opponents. I, Tanisha Bhatt, am honored to discuss reservation policy for women in India. This policy intends to address the women who have historically faced disadvantages. While the intention for this policy is definitely noble, when it comes to reservation, it makes it seem like women require special treatment in order to succeed. This can reinforce typical stereotypes and division within society. Let's talk about some women who might feel unfairly treated, or about those deserving candidates from marginalized society or marginalized communities who might think that they are missing out due to reservation. Instead of just thinking about reservation, let's focus on the real issues that are behind women's underrepresentation in Indian society. This means giving equal opportunities to quality education, better healthcare, and creating a supportive environment for our women.
Let's take the example of late Srimati uh, Kamla Bahuguna. She was a prominent politician of Uttarakhand. She had always been a vocal critique of social issues like child marriage and domestic violence. This is the way we can empower our women without reservation. Other such prominent personalities are Indira Gandhi, Kalpana Chawla, Mary Kom, Arundhati Roy, who exemplify how through perseverance and skills women can attain success, women can attain accomplishments without the necessities of quotas. While reservation may bring immediate benefit to some, it can also prove to be challenging for others. For example, let's talk about tokenism, where women are appointed directly to positions without looking at their qualifications. This may tarnish their credibility and diminish public trust in women's leadership. Empowerment. How can we empower our women? As a society, we should know that empowerment starts with education. It is through education that we gain knowledge, skill, and confidence to shape our own destinies and break the cycle of poverty and discrimination against us. We must firmly reject the notion that women are inferior to men in any way or that our primary role is to take care of others. We must demand equal opportunities in all aspects of life, be it education or politics or employment, all through our unwavering hard work and leadership. It is important to shift our focus from relying solely on reservation and instead concentrate on creating a fair platform for everyone. We can do this by tackling the fundamental reasons behind women's underrepresentation. We can definitely establish a society in which women have an equal chance to succeed based on their abilities. This will not only be advantageous for women, but also for society as a whole. In conclusion, while reservation for women have been introduced to address historical inequalities, they also have the potential to reinforce stereotypes and create division within society.
Time is over.
All right, thank you so much.
Now I would like to call Tanushri, who will speak in favor of the motion.
After Tanushri, Shivam Karthik, please be ready.
So, yeah, an amazing quote by Michael Bassett. There is no development strategy that is going to be successful if it does not include women. Good evening, my dear esteemed judges, and each and everyone present here. So, can reservation for women in India truly achieve gender equality? The debate on whether reservation for women in India can achieve gender equality is both timely and critical. As a country with deep rooted gender disparities, and implementation of reservation policies is viewed as a necessary intervention to promote women's rights and representation. This discussion encompasses rights and representation, historical context, socio-economic implications, and the potential for societal change. Let me be very concise. I will talk in some points. Historical context. India has a long history of patriarchal structures that have marginalized women, limiting their access to education, employment, and political power. Women have often been confined to traditional roles, which has resulted in systematic inequalities. Reservation policies aim to address these historical injustices by providing women with opportunities that were previously inaccessible. For instance, the introduction of 33% reservation for women in local governance through the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments was a landmark decision. This policy was led to increase participation of women in Panchayati Raj institutions. The enhanced representation. One of the most compelling arguments in favor of reservation is that it enhances women's representation in political and public spheres. This representation is crucial for developing policies that reflect the diverse needs of the population. For example, the success of women in local governance has inspired a generation of girls to aspire to leadership roles. Increased visibility of women, such as Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, India's finance minister, serves as a powerful message that women can excel in high profile positions. Last but not the least, महिलाओं के आरक्षण से होगी हर आवाज बुलंद, समानता की ओर बढ़ेगा हमारा यह सुंदर संदूर. जब नारी का होगा सशक्त प्रतिनिधित्व, तभी बनेगा समाज में सच्चा समर्पण और विकास. Thank you everyone.
Next, I would like to invite Shivam Karthik, who will speak against the motion. The last participant of the day, Shivam Karthik.
Good evening to the esteemed panel of judges and good evening, audience. I am Shivram Karthik and I am here to speak against the motion. To quote, more opportunity based on ability rather than reservation, says Renuka Ray, a proud freedom fighter and a social activist in the 1940s. This shows the women's spirit to fight against patriarchy and rise to power by their own merit. Now let's break down the topic. Can reservations bring gender equality? In India, gender inequality has always been rooted through our patriarchal nature. Now let's consider the example of Bihar. In 2006, 50% of the Panchayat Raj seats were reserved for women, but the gender dynamics seems unaffected because of this. This shows that theoretical equality on paper does not change the deep-rooted social attributes which contribute to gender inequality. This brings us to focus upon the other various facets which govern gender inequality in our country. We have to focus on various other factors such as education, economic dependence of women, domestic abuse, as well as the social systems which govern gender inequality in our country. Now, this brings me to my second question. Do you think if even if women are selected, will they be able to work in an environment and bring a change when the society is so misogynistic? Rather than providing real empowerment, it would promote on tokenism, which would make them constantly doubt their abilities rather than focusing on real development. And secondly, proxy candidates, which are also a case where the male members of the family puppet the women elected leaders. Now, this brings us to the next question, and this brings us to the conclusion, which says there needs to be a holistic development. Rather than just legislative representation of women, there has to be more efforts on other attributes which should empower women, and we can bring gender equality through our committed efforts. Thank you.
On the behalf of Hemvati Nandan Bahuguna Smriti Samiti and the Debate Disciples Club of MET University, Noida, we would like to thank all the participants and our honorable judges for listening to all the participants. Please give a huge round of applause for all the participants who are participating in this event. While this debating event comes to an end, the debate isn't over yet. The result is now out soon.
Tani sir, for giving us this wonderful opportunity and बहुत ही सुंदर तरीके से आप लोगों ने अपने अपने विचार रखे और बहुत मुश्किल था हम लोगों के लिए जजमेंट करना और पेशेंस तो आपकी कमांडेबल है तो हेड्स ऑफ यू एंड थैंक यू बिग बिग थैंक्स on behalf of the Reservation Club, my humble request to all of you, you can join
and you will enjoy throughout your journey in MIT University. You can join this club. Thank you, sir, for giving us this opportunity. And of course, my colleagues, Dr. Professor Lakshmi Ahuja and Dr. Suchita ma'am, हिमांशु सर एंड निशा मिश्रा मैम, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत दिल से धन्यवाद, आपने इतना समय दिया. मैं अनुरोध करूंगी BSW सर से कि वो पार्टिसिपेंट्स को सर्टिफिकेट्स दें. सैनी सर, लक्ष्मी मैम, सुचेता मैम, आप हिमांशु सर, और आप लोग एक लाइन बना लीजिए जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, और फटाफट, क्योंकि सभी लोग लेट हो रहे हैं, थोड़ा सा टाइम ज्यादा लगा बिकॉज ऑफ द डिले. हाँ, सब फटाफट दे दीजिए, बच्चों का थोड़ा ऑनर हो जाए. बहुत जल्दी जल्दी लाइन से, बस ये विनर्स का तब तक लिख रहे हैं ना, बस आ जाइए. ओके 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 ओके. कैन वी हैव a group photograph? Please come. हाँ, विनर्स का सर बेटे लिस्ट दो, नहीं लिस्ट तो दे दो.
कहते हैं कि इतिहास उसी को पूजेगा जो सबसे जाकर नहीं पूछेगा, जो ठान लिया अपने मन में उस लक्ष्य में खुद को सींचेगा, इतिहास उसी को पूजेगा. Soon we are going to announce the result of this debate competition organized by Hemvati Nandan Bahuguna Smriti Samiti in the birth cemetery of the Srimati Kamla Bahuguna Joshi ji. For the result, I would like to invite Nisha ma'am, please come on the stage. Sir, please come on the stage. Himanshu sir. Suchita ma'am, please come on the stage. Co-chairperson of the Debate Disciples Club.
So first of all, congratulations to all winners. So third prize goes to Mr. Surya Pratap.
Give a big round of applause for Surya Pratap.
Second winner is Palak Sharma.
Give a big round of applause for Palak Sharma. Scored second position in the today's event.
And the most awaited result,
The first prize goes to
awaited result is first position, Arushi Kaur.
Give a big round of applause for Arushi. Scored first position in today's event, Vaad Vivad Pratyogita, organized by Hemvati Nandan Bahuguna Smriti Samiti. Give a big round of applause for today's event.
Can we have all the participants with us over here? All participants, please come for all the participants.
Everyone, please come for a group photo. All participants.
Certificate for Dr. Nisha Mishra. I am.
देखिए ना किसी को भिजवा Dr. Nisha Mishra, ma'am, judge for the event. Himanshu Gupta, sir. Professor Dr. Mahima Gupta, ma'am. Give a big round of applause for everyone. Suchita Chandok, ma'am, the official debating society of MIT University. Everyone, please come to the stage for the group photo. Please.